Before we start this live stream, I'd like to go over a few community guidelines. Please be civil, respectful, and tactful to all people, groups, and organizations we may be talking about. It's okay to not like everyone, and please use extreme tact while talking about these things. I want to keep the environment very positive around you. Please no graphic sex, violence, death, and I'll add in politics. Let's keep our politics at the door. And let's keep this channel suitable for the entire family to enjoy. Let's have some fun, guys. Let's have some fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Retro Nerd Girl broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station. And I just realized I don't have a light. I need light. Aziz, light. There we go. Woo. Guys, I hope you're having a great day. It's Friday. So I hope that you're starting off the weekend really nice and fun and taking it easy. Um, and Yeah, there was today was a busy day, but I had fun so far, and I'm looking forward to some more fun. And let's see what you guys. Oh, Keith E has already let me know that he can hear me, and that's awesome. So has Jack. Jack says hello from Texas, 1984. What a year! I can hear you loud and clear. Oh, great. And the Outcast Creative says, "Hey Retro, if you want to I can pop on for in about 30 minutes. No worries. If not, I can go to my acting class. I couldn't go to my acting class as I had to work late on the screenplay. Yes, yes, I've already given him a link, so maybe we'll see him in about 30 minutes. Let's see, who else is here? This is a new face. Walt Nasa is here. Great to see you. Says hi. Hi there. I'm Walt. Nice to meet you, Walt. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. And Volcano is here. It says, hello, guys. I'm soon painting minis again. The previous building segment has been a pain in the butt, though. Oh, wow. Um, I really would love to learn how to do buildings. Great. I would love to learn how to make and build buildings and like miniature buildings. Oh God, I'm trying. All the ones that I've done so far have been rudimentary, but I'm trying. I'm trying. And Jack is here and says, been retired for almost 4 years. Every day is Friday for you. Yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes. And just have as much fun as you can while you are able to. Thank you for leaving that. That's very inspiring. Very inspiring. And so, um, a short introduction today. Let's dive right into 1984. What a year! What a year! And we had so many incredible movies this for this particular year. Now, going through it, the list, just generally, what I noticed was there's a lot of movies that really weren't super popular that are also in the 1984 bracket as well. But there were a lot of big movies in this time period. So I can't wait to go over all of them with you. Uh, Walt Nasa says, I have many movies that are from 1984 that are my favorite movies, like Dune, and as my dad was a big Dune fan. Oh yeah, Dune was fantastic. It was fantastic. I loved that movie. I know it critically was not loved, but I did love myself some Dune. It inspired me to read the books, and the books are insanely good. Um, Even the ones that people are deemed not so good, in my opinion, they're pretty good. Um, the way I posed this was I went from the box office uh, gross, and then after that there's a category of movies that aren't office movies necessarily. Either they were TV movies or they were just movies that didn't track that information. And I have it by popularity, how many people made votes on IMDb for these particular ones. And it's hopefully as we go down the list, we'll get more and more obscure movies. But of these obscure movies, a lot of them I haven't seen yet, and I really want to see them. So this is also a good way of finding out about movies that we didn't know existed in 1984. Maybe we'll want to check it out. Okay, so I might have to enlarge this, and if I do, I will probably lose some aspect of being able to see what you guys are saying or being able to highlight it. I'll have to toggle back and forth. So do bear with me. Walt Nasser says one of Patrick Stewart's earliest roles. Yes, of course it does. He was fantastic in this. I loved it. And in Dune, in Dune. So the first one up is Ghostbusters. My goodness. This movie was so incredibly huge when it came out. Everybody had to see it. It was wonderful. We had that wonderful song attached to it. Bustin' makes me feel good. Great, great song, and you could just it makes no sense. It's like, for as songs go, it makes no sense, but it's a song about the stuff that's happening in the movie, not necessarily take for take, but it's like a general fun song about the Ghostbusters, and of course, it was fantastic. Great melody, and also just a catchy tune. Let me read what it says here on IMDb. It says three parapsychologists forced out of their university funding set up shop as a unique ghost removal service in New York City, attracting frightened yet skeptical customers. I'm hoping everyone has seen this at least once in their life, but if you haven't, the director is Ivan Reitman. Absolutely incredible work he's doing here. And it stars Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, and Harold Ramis. Very, very good um, movie. And it grossed $238.63 million. Oh, it was so good. So good. And right now you can watch it on Bravo. Let's see what else. You guys have said some things. Oh, Jamalama's here. Hello, Jamalama. How are you? Says hello, everyone. And V Zach is here. Hi, V Zach. How are you? Says hi. 1984 was a great year for movies and music, wasn't it? It was fantastic. Music is the next one coming up. If I can finish this today. So, yeah, music was great. It was a one heck of a year for music. And well, NASA says I actually met him, and he told me he still suit the still suits were the most difficult costume he had ever worn. Oh, you're talking about Patrick Stewart. Yeah, yeah. What a, he's such a classy guy. I do love him. I know there's some people who are upset at him because of the Star Trek Picard series 1 and 2, but I do think that he's just a charming man, and he's still having fun at his age. Jack says Ghostbusters theme song was a ripoff of Huey Lewis. I wanted a drug. I think it went to copyright court. Yes, and they won. And also, um, it was mainly because the producers went to Huey Lewis and asked him if he can do a song, and he said no. And so that if they hadn't done that, well, maybe they would have a case of like accidental, um, association or accidentally sounding like it. But they actually wanted a song that sounded like "I Want a New Drug," and so there you go. And Maddie's daddy is here. Says, "Hey, beautiful. Hey, you. I haven't seen you in such a long time. I hope you're doing very well." I hope you're doing very, very well. And Walt Massa says, "I'm also a massive Ghostbusters fan." Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenon, and I loved every moment of that phenomenon. It was really wonderful in 1984. It really took everybody by storm, and it was also like the perfect storm of a movie. You couldn't get any better for 1984. And Jack says Patrick Stewart is cool. I think so. He's a cool guy. He just goes with the flow of everything. Uh, and I know during the pandemic, he was on his Instagram, or I'm not sure if it was Instagram or if it was Twitter or both. He was posting little snippets of him reading Shakespeare, and it was wonderful. I was like, yeah, Yeah, that that's how you do it. You still do the things that you love and, also entertain. He's an entertainer for the people, so I love him. And he says, "Been very busy, but I drop by when I can." Oh, thank you. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Um, yes, you have a very busy job and, definitely an admirable one as well. And Unicorn Rabbit Studio is here. Yes, thank you so much, Unicorn, for being there at the wonderful talk I had last night at the Table Talk channel. It was so much fun, and I enjoyed myself, and it was so great to see you there. It was wonderful, and I felt like, some of my people's here. My peoples are here. And Unicorn says, "Hello, last minute animal care request. Sorry, I missed the beginning music." Oh, yes. Well, you are right on time. We're just diving into 1984, and we may have Lance from the Outcast Creative come by, and of course uh, he has show and tell all the time, so he might have some posters and things from this time period. And Jack says Patrick had a big role in Anthony and Cleopatra. Still had some hair. Oh, I've got to see. It's been a long time since I've seen Anthony and Cleopatra, so I must uh, check them out. And Volcano says Rick Moranis was also great in Ghostbusters, Keymaster, and Gatekeeper. Yes, wonderful. Yes, he was fantastic, and just loved his work on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and it's just one of those. He's just one of those actors. I love seeing him and everything. Also, Little Shop of Horrors. He's so good in that. And Walt Nasa says, actually, I actually have a funny story involving Ghostbusters 2. My baby brother was born a year before the movie was released, and it was the earliest movie I remember seeing. Oh, cool. Yeah, I actually liked Ghostbusters 2. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but definitely was something I did enjoy. I had some chuckles from it too. Unicorn Rapids Studio was fun listening in. Oh, cool, oh, cool. I'm so glad. Uh, and yeah, that Ghostbusters 2 had a song in it that I really loved. I think, "Love Keeps Lifting Me Higher." Love that song. I wish we could, embrace that song, a lot more. But every once in a while, you'll hear me, I'll be around the house and I'll just be, like, singing it out of nowhere, and I was like, "Why am I singing that song?" I don't even know the words to it. All I know is, like, the main part of the chorus part. And, we've got the next one up, which is Beverly Hills Cop. It is really one of those movies that, how can I say, kinda surprised everyone. It surprised everyone because we didn't know that Eddie Murphy could. We thought, I mean, most people had seen his funny stuff, him on SNL, Saturday Night Live, and we had seen a few things. I'm not sure if Raw had come out in 1983 or not, but he did that one stand-up thing show, Raw, and that was kind of an inkling that he was actually like the real deal. It's like, okay, so he's not just the skit guy on SNL, he's actually funny. And then uh, with this right here, this movie really showed us that he could act and was not bad at it and was hilarious while doing so. So he sort of formulated his own style of acting, his own style of movie. So there was sort of like a little mini Eddie Murphy production studio within each of the films that he's in, where he can stamp his um, brand in. So it was really kind of interesting to see all of his movies in the 80s, a little bit in the 90s too. He did some rebranding in the 90s, but really seeing how an actor can really brand themselves in a lot of the movies that they're in, while at the same time uh, doing exactly what he was paid for to listen to the director and take and help with uh, the the story, telling the story. And Vizak says, "Yeah, Ghostbusters 2 was good, and the Bobby Brown song. Yes, I love that song. I play that song over and over and over and over again. Love the rapping and everything he does in that song. And so, yeah, that was fun. Like as soon as that song came out, like there was, um I would always hit the dance floor because they would play it on in, like, a club or something, and I would hit the dance floor, and I would be, like, doing the Running Man. It's like, Running Man is like, you just gotta get into that, and then you're like, and then you do a little bit of this, and you do a little bit of this, and then you're back to doing, the Running Man. I love the Running Man so much. That was my signature move. And Jack said Rick Moranis is a classic 80s funny guy. Yes, true to his roots from Second City TV. Yes, and he was outstanding in that. And yes, he did that one movie. I forgot the name of it, guys. You guys probably know. But he did that one movie that was a Second City kind of spinoff, which was hilarious. Uh, and Walt Nassa says, while watching the movie, the scene where the baby was kidnapped by a ghost, and after I saw, uh, uh, I started having nightmares about, oh no, my baby brother being kidnapped by a ghost. Oh no, I hate when that happens when you watch a movie and then it it shows up in a nightmare. The nostalgic podcast is here. Hi, how are you? I was able to check out your channel and it is really good. So, guys, if you want some entertainment and the nostalgic field, go over and check out Nostalgic Podcast. Really great channel. Really great channel. And saying hi to everyone, hi to me. And Manny's daddy says, we ain't gonna fall for no banana in the tailpipe. Yeah. And that was from Beverly Hills Cop. Yes. And V Zach says the Beverly Hills Cop theme music. Axel um, F. Is that Fogel? Axel Fogel. Um, really, really great stuff. Really great stuff. And Nostalgic uh, podcast says Eddie Murphy 1982 comedy album was hysterical. Yes, yes. I mean, I think when he did those things, right? He did the special, Raw special, and then he did uh, that comedy album. It just proved it's like, oh, he like he could do a lot more than what he was doing on SNL. And and then Eddie Murphy, comedian LP, yeah. Uh, and Richard Pryor was the prototype for Eddie. Yes, yes. And many of the movies that was supposed to have Richard Pryor in it in the 80s turned out something that they ended up doing giving to Eddie Murphy. And also, um, it was really cool to see them play together in Harlem Nights. That was really great. It was so wonderful to see them to get play together. And Nostalgic Podcast says 48 Hours showed Eddie's acting ability first in 1982 after the hit scene on Saturday Night Live in 1981. Yes, yes. I do believe you're correct about that. It is, it's like these movies that are like the early testing ground for him to prove he can indeed act. Um, and oh, Lance Chafin is here. Hi, Lance. How are you? How is it going? It's going good. How are you? And Jack says Beverly Hills Cop was one of the few VHS rental tapes that had an anti copying protection. Oh, really? Um, 'cause I think the way oh, well, there was a trick to copying those tapes. There, with every trick, there's always a trick to get around things. But yeah, I remember those. And Nostalgic Podcast says, thanks for the kind words, Retro. Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have a fantastic channel. I love nostalgic um, channels. So we gotta share this information and let it pass down to the next generation so they can be able to know some of this stuff. And Nostalgic Pause says, your channel rocks. You're so cool. Thank you. So very nice to me. Thank you. And Jack is saying hi to Lance. Lance says, got all three Beverly Hills Cop movies on DVD. Oh, cool. Yeah. Just found out today that Amazon, which is where I have a lot of my movies, uh, I'm regretting ever doing digital. I'm regretting it so much because now they're going to put commercials in in between the movies that are being shown on Amazon, even though you already pay an absorbent fee to be part of the program. So that this is going to be interesting. And I hope this doesn't apply to any of the movies that I've actually bought because that would piss me off. And which I don't get pissed off very often, but that would really uh, make me upset. But this is one more example of how physical media is going to be something we're going to have to do because we're not going to have access to movies anymore because of companies wanting to make extra money off of their already paying customers um, to so they can hire more people, hire more departments. Just it is really crazy. Sorry to get all weird on you guys. Oh, Sam Lee is here. Says and is talking to Jack. Hi, Sam Lee. Good to see you. And oh yes, Maddie Sadie has it down. Strange Brew, wonderful little funny flick. A spin-off of his Second City routine with Dave Thomas. That's right, aka Bob and Doug McKenzie. They were funny. Oh my God, they were so funny. What a treat! What a treat! And um, let's see. Oh, okay. So the anti-protection is called Markovision. Okay, got it, guys. Thank you for you guys are so smart. Um, I didn't remember the name. Let's see. And let's see. And Jack says, Strange Brew is a cult classic. Max von Sydow is the villain. Yes. You know what? I need to watch that again, just for fun, just for funsies. And Lance Chapin mentions Eddie Murphy, The Golden Child. Yes, I love that movie. I know it's not a favorite of many people, but it was a little bit different for Eddie, but it was really good. Sam Lee says Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. Who among the stand-ups can top them in the modern age? Um, no, I don't know anybody who could do that. So, uh, yeah, I don't know anybody. And Lance mentions part 4 is coming out soon. Yes, they're doing another Beverly Hills Cop. I might pass on that one. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Uh, and Research says, I hear you about physical media. Yeah, that's really um, really crazy. I paid for all those movies already. I better not see any um, ads on them. It would really make me upset. But if I'm guessing this right, is that if you have a Prime membership, whatever Prime movies are on, you would have to watch commercials. but anything you bought, you wouldn't have to watch commercials. And that's my guess on that. And even still, it, it it's still ridiculous uh, to do that. Uh, I just, yeah, because there was already freebie where there was, oh, you can see this free with ads, and a couple of other things. Should not be doing that to your customers. I don't think that's really great. Nostalgic Podcast says, I just hit the thumbs up for Retro Nerd Girl. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I haven't played this in a while, but yes, anyone who could support this particular channel and this video, go on ahead. Yes, smash the like button. Thank you so much, Nostalgic Podcast. Oh, I got to catch up. Let's see. And Maddie Saddy's very smart. It says, I only do physical media. So smart. So smart. Look, it was like maybe, I would say a good 7 to 5 years ago. And I was like, oh, okay, it looks like everybody's doing digital. Let's just do digital. They made it sound so easy. Sometimes, things were on sale. I picked them up. Um, and now I have like a collection of hundreds of movies, but I get, I also have to have all these streaming platforms, and I could see all those for free on those streaming platforms. And then on top of that, I realized, wait a minute, if something happens to streaming platforms, or in the case of what they're doing at Amazon and also Netflix and Disney Plus, where you've got commercials for a lot of stuff. Well, I like, especially if you do watch parties, you don't need commercials and everything. So yeah, it's been really frustrating, really frustrating. But yeah, physical media was looking like the best choice. Volcano says, I won't be bothered by greedy movie distributors because I have a DVD collection of over 200 movies. Wow. Yes, awesome. Yeah, I'm building up my collection, and yeah, that's the way to go, I guess. And Darth Plato is here. Says, "Hey, hello, Darth Plato. How are you?" Uh, and Manny says agrees with me. Likes the golden child. Yes, it was so cute. Where is the knife? Oh man, that was great. And you guys are saying hi to each other. And the Celtic podcast says Eddie Murphy did Golden Child for Paramount Pictures instead of Star Trek 4. I think that was a better choice. It's a better match for him, right? I mean, this is the point in his career where people were trying to offer him different kinds of roles. But yeah, he's still able to insert his funniness into uh, Golden Child. Star Trek, I mean, seeing him do that would have been, it's sort of like the Superman, uh, the Superman thing, Superman 3 issue that a lot of people have. I personally enjoyed Superman 3, but it's hard to insert a comedian in something that's supposed to be a little bit more serious. And Krabby Patty says Louis C.K. is hilarious. Oh, um, Louis C.K. Is that like a modern? Oh, you're answering the question, who today is funnier than is as funny as the golden era, I would say, of comedians and comedic actors. I see. Gotcha. uh, And how are you today, Krabby Patty? I hope you're doing well. And Jack says, Beverly Hills Cop 4, mine, that IP. Yes, they're doing everything they can. And look, uh, Eddie Murphy's still alive, and he's not in bad shape. So I think they just want to take advantage of that and people's nostalgia. And San Lee says, VH VHS tapes in the 80s cost $50. Yes, it was really expensive. It was much better to rent them. And uh, and Lance says, "Don't hulk out on RNG. Okay, be calm." And nostalgia. Love that graphic with Linda Carter. Oh, isn't it cool? I love when she does that move. And Maddie said, he says, thanks for the reminder to hit the thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Nostalgic Podcast. It's really, sometimes I forget to ask, but you do need to in order for a lot of these videos to be found, even the algorithm to notice me and put me on in front of some eyeballs. And V Zach says used DVDs are really cheap now. Are they? Well, oh yeah, okay. So I maybe that's what I need to do. I need to look at some used uh, DVDs and see if I can get my hands on more DVDs. And I was going to put together a list of DVDs I have so people can know, like, hey, if they wanted to send me some DVDs, they could go on ahead and do that. But I will. I'll get to it. There's so much work to be done. And let's see. Let's see. And Sandy says maybe not so much longer. Yeah. Nostalgic Podcast says streaming is a shell game. What streams today may not stream tomorrow. Plus things get edited. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Splash has been forever changed. And Lance says Tubi, Pluto, and Plex are good and they are free. But they do have commercials, right? Am I correct in that? And Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU is here. Hello, how are you doing, Matt G? Movies, popcorn, popcorn, popcorn. Yes, thank you for using those emojis. And Lance Chapin says, I have a hundred. I'm sorry. Is that 10,000? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm missing that's 1,000. I have 1,000 DVDs. Yay. Yeah. Good for you. I mean, that's fantastic. You've been dedicated to saving, and you can watch any of them at any point in time you want to. That's the way to go. Nostalgic Podcast says, I just purchased the entire series of 49 episodes of Outer Limits original series on Blu-ray. Nice. Nice. And San Lee says Richard Pryor and Superman was hokey but still enjoyable. I had so much fun with that. I had a blast watching that. I mean, it was silly, but I loved it. And Nostalgic says, yes, Retro Naughty Girl, Eddie Murphy starred in The Golden Child, where he would not be uh, the star of uh, Star Trek 4. And yeah, it's just a better fit. It's just a better fit. He has no business anywhere near Star Trek. And he saved Star Trek actually. So we should give him who thought of that? It's just really insane. And the Nostalgic Podcast says, I like the Tic Tac line by Eddie and the Golden Child. I don't remember that one. And Lance Chapin, I want the knife, please, while holding the water, the golden child. Yeah. And Nostalgic Podcast says, I too like Superman 3. The movie had nice moments. It did. It had a few really cool moments. I love the whole attack by the computer. That was really scary at some point. And Nostalgic, am I commenting too much? I don't think so. And we're talking about a lot of the same, still talking about the same stuff. And let's see, you guys are talking to each other. I'm sorry for interrupting. Krabby Patty says, "Hey, Hale, I'm listening while making dinner. Oh, yum yum. What are you making?" Yum yum, like a gremlin. Lance James says, "RNG, check out eBay and Mercari for DVDs. Get them in bulk for cheap. Nice tip. Nice tip. I like that. Like that. Well, guys, I am gonna do one thing. I have a small uh, allergy issue, and we're gonna take care of that. I'll be right back. Yes. My allergies. They're always bugging me. Let's see. Volcano says Dwight Schultz played in Star Trek and he had a comedic role in 18 before that. So, yes, comedians can work in that serious environment. Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure if Eddie Murphy was going to be a great fit, though, for a movie. Because, yeah, I don't know. It depends on how they were gonna have him in the story. Um, maybe there's a way to to write a good story around that. But I just don't feel like naturally it was such a great match. Um, but yeah, Dwight was fantastic, and San Lee says feel better. Thank you, thank you so much. And let's see. Okay, let's move on. Next one is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And there are many people who do have a problem with this for definitely valid reasons. As a kid, did love this movie and I still do for the action adventure facet of it, and also I was just a big fan of Indiana Jones and loved Ke Huy Quan, and I did love Kate Capshaw in this. So there were a lot of funny moments in this as well, and it was one of those movies. It was a roller coaster ride, literally. They took the idea of the roller coaster ride of a film and put it inside the film, which was great. I didn't read off all the information um, on the Beverly Hills Cop movie, but I wanted to do that here. Let's see. In 1935, Indiana Jones is tasked by Indian villagers with reclaiming a rock stolen from them by a secret cult beneath the catacombs of an ancient palace. And this is, of course, director Steven Spielberg, stars Harrison Ford, Kate Capshaw, Ki Huy Kwan, and Amrish Puri, and it grossed $179.87 million. Very nice for 1984. Very, very. That's a lot of money for that time period. So they did well. They did well. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are you guys' feelings about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom? It for me. It's just part of like a childhood moment. I was in my teens and I was early teens, and it was just had such energy to it. But I think a lot of people in the industry they just don't like some of the insensitive things that were in the film. And like I said, it's fine, but I think it otherwise it's a incredibly entertaining piece of work. I'm just going to go back 1 second and just read off the information for Beverly Hills Cop, which I didn't get to do. So the premise for Beverly Hills Cop is a freewheeling Detroit cop pursuing a murder investigation finds himself dealing with the very different culture of Beverly Hills. Director was Martin Brest, which I'm really not familiar with this particular director. I have to research him. And this stars Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, who was actually pretty good in this, and John Ashton and Lisa Ilbacher. Ilbacher. And it grossed $234.76 million. That was outstanding for the time. Outstanding. And Sam Lee says, Regina girl, you were in your teens when Indy Jones came out. You look like a teen now. Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, oh, that is really nice. Yeah, I was 14 or maybe 13 going on 14. Very, very, um, very, very young. And this stuff was just right up my alley because I was just like, I giggled through the whole entire movie. Just loved it to pieces. Let's see. And Maddie says, a little known fact, the old wise man in Temple of Doom was played by the biggest stand-up comic of Sri Lanka. Really? Wow. Okay. That's really cool. And Jack says the henchman that Indy fights in the mine, the guy who gets caught on the grinder, is played again by the actor that is put onto the plane prop while fighting Indy in the first movie. Yes, yes, yes. I forgot his name, but he was also in Willow. He's really Pat Roach. Pat Roach is his name, and he was an incredible. Um, stunt guy and actor. So he was one of those guys. If you needed a big, burly guy, you would get Pat Roach in on the action. And I love that they just redressed him and it's Hollywood. Yeah, it's Hollywood. And the next one up is Gremlins. Oh, I just do love this movie so much. It tickles me so much. The Gremlins are just so naughty and they're always after food. Yum, yum. They're just great. And Gremlins 1984. A young man inadvertently breaks three important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of malevolently mischievous monsters on a small town. Really great. Um, Director Joe Dante, he's just fantastic. I love his style and his brand of humor, and also a lot of the actors that you would typically see, in one of his films. Love that. Stars also Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, Hoyx Axton, and John Louis. It grossed $148.17 million. Now, guys, I believe right now we have a guest in the green room. Let me get my technology right here. And let me see.
Press the big red button with the X on it. Oh, hello.
Don't hit that button. That means leave the studio.
Yeah. No. Hello. I don't know which films I've missed. Are you going from number one and working your way up?
That's absolutely correct. And I think we're...
I must have missed... Ghostbusters must have been number one.
Yes, Ghostbusters was number one. We can go through them one time. Let me just read off a few of these messages here, and then I want to introduce you to anyone who's new to the channel. Jack says,
I know I wasn't originally planned to come on tonight, so you sure it's okay? Because if you had it in your head you were going to
Oh,
Go
no,
Solos.
you're totally cool.
You sure?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I wouldn't
Right.
have invited you if I didn't
Well,
want
that's
you on
true.
the channel. I have no problems with being blunt. And so, let's go through only a few questions or a few comments here. Jack says Pat Roach ran out of text. And Stanley says, was the uh, was this the movie where the dude had to dress up in drag because the actress was afraid of snakes? Oh, are you talking about no, that's actually the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that movie, was done in 1981, I believe, or 1981 or 1982. Stanley also says, "I have to watch The Gremlins again. I only remember the book adaptation." Oh, I didn't know that there was a book adaptation.
Yeah,
All right.
I used to have that actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Volcano says they trashed the reputation of the German Volkswagen and Kremlin. So I'm sure we can have an angry mob about that. But everyone, this is Lance, and he is from the channel called The Outcast Creative. He's come on a lot of streams with me to talk about some of these older movies, and I hope that you guys will enjoy his commentary on some of the stuff as we go through the list. And so we're going to go through back to the beginning, and the first one
I
was
think I have
Ghostbusters.
more vinyl soundtracks for this year than any other single year of films, I
Oh,
think.
really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think because I have Ghostbusters on vinyl and Beverly Hills Cop.
And Beverly Hills Cop, that
Yeah.
was the second one. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
I used to have that on vinyl, but I gave it to my then girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah,
And, then now we're on Gremlins,
right.
which is, really, um, an endearing film for me. I just love I just chuckle and laugh through the entire thing, love those
Yeah, it's
guys.
good.
Yeah, just so good. And, the next one is The Karate Kid. Let me
This
read.
this is an interesting one because I think it's the only hit of 1984 that I didn't see at the cinema
Oh,
because
okay.
the title just sounded a bit dumb.
Mhm.
To me as a kid, it just The Karate Kid, that sounds kinda cheesy, and then a friend of mine went to see it and said, "No, you should go and see it, it's really good," and it wasn't on for that long, so by the time I thought, "Oh, maybe I should go and see it," you kinda went into your local and the cinema and it had come off 'cause the competition for films that year was extremely high.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's, it did fairly well. Um,
But I rented it the day it came out on video. We were the first people at the video shop, and it was one of those video shops where they only got one copy of each
yeah.
film. And
Mhm.
we were there. They opened at 10 o'clock. We were there 10:01. We got Karate Kid, and I think we rented might have been Krull or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't Krull. Maybe something else. I can't. It might have been Krull. Krull came out in '83. Um,
Um, so what I'm also doing is reading the IMDb information
right.
for anyone who may be watching that is not familiar with these movies. So this is a martial arts master agrees to teach karate to a bullied teenager. That's exactly what happens. This is directed by John G. Avildsen. It stars Ralph Macchio, Pat Morita, Elizabeth Shue, and Martin Cove. I mean, Elizabeth Shue, my goodness. Um,
That was
and
her breakout role, I think.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and we see her a little bit later in Back to the Future 2, I believe. And
Yes.
gross on this was 90.82 million. That was Um, that was a lot of money back then, but, as we go down the list, you'll see that, the center point of, a lot of these movies that, did okay in the theater were about, like, from 40 to, 15 million. So that's, like, the center point of a lot of these movies, which was really quite cool. to see that on the higher end of really making a lot of money to like making a decent film. And as you guys can see in a lot of these, anything with the green check mark in the corner are movies I've seen. This is from my personal
Okay.
IMDb
Mhm.
account. And there are also movies that I have seen that I've removed from the watch list because I simply don't remember I remember seeing the movies, but I don't remember actually going to
Oh,
I mean actually like the contents of the movie.
okay.
So I saw the movie.
It can't have been that good. If,
Well no, my memory is really bad. I've had
yeah,
memory issues, and so
mine
that's
too.
something that's something that, I could just rewatch those movies, just to, uh, get familiarized with them again, but there are some movies I've seen multiple times, and I just don't remember them,
Right.
unfortunately. Um, and so, Stanley is saying hi to you, Lance. And
Hey,
Maddie's daddy
sweep the
says,
leg.
"Sweet
No,
Lord,
no mercy.
no mercy."
No mercy.
And Maddie's daddy says, "Little known fact: they had to get permission from DC Comics to use the name Karate Kid." Really
Yeah, because there was a very short, in fact, I remember it. There was a very short-lived DC strip, I think, called The Karate Kid, no relation to the film whatsoever, about
interesting.
some kid with karate powers. I might be wrong about that, but I vaguely remember seeing that comic.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting.
unless it was a comic adaptation of The Karate Kid, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't a graphic novel of that.
And Stanley says, 20 years later, an MMA fighter would choose the crane kick. Oh my God, did it work?
Maybe there's video footage of that that
Oh man.
we can go and check out, you know?
And Matilda Maiden says, is here. Hi, Matilda Maiden. And it was really funny because I was saying your name, and then I was thinking, oh, Matilda May.
Yeah. Uh, she popped on my up on my stream the other day, when I was doing a gaming stream,
Awesome.
and I renamed all the units in the game after people on the stream, so I've actually got a brigade called Matilda's Maidens in the game.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. 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 I'm so glad you're back, Matilda. You're fantastic. Says, hi, Retro. Hi, Lance. I'm only 50 minutes late. Silly work. Hope everyone is well. Oh, yeah, we're
all
doing
good, all
really
good.
great. It's so great to see you again. And we got Maddie Daddy says, same for the Terminator. They also had to get permission from DC Comics, who had a character called Deathstroke the Terminator. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I'm familiar with Deathstroke. I didn't know he was called the Terminator,
Mm.
but that is exactly what he does. And Jamalama says, hi to you, Lance.
Hey,
And,
Jamila.
um, oh, Simply Steve 68 is here and says, Karate Kid was a DC character, not Daniel-san.
Yeah, that was my that's what I remember, that there was a DC character called Karate Kid who had a very short-lived strip. I think I may have had an issue of it, at some point. Don't think it did very well,
So cool.
but
I love this information. You guys are so smart.
yeah.
And William Blake Hall is here. How are you? Says, hey
Hey!
gang. Just got back from a little adventure. That's
Oh,
awesome.
okay.
Yeah.
Is that like a bank job, or do you mean going to Chuck E. Cheese? That could mean anything, couldn't it?
Well, adventures say that something exciting and fun happened.
Yes, preferably exciting and fun is always good.
Yes. Yes. And and usually unexpected. And so we've got the next one is Police Academy.
Yeah.
And this one, a group of good-hearted but incompetent misfits enter the police academy, but the instructions there are not going to put up with their pranks. And the director was Hugh Wilson, which I've never heard of Hugh Wilson. Have you?
Um, no, but I mean, he had a long career ahead of him if he did all the other Police Academy movies.
Yes,
Uh,
most
um,
likely.
interestingly enough, I saw this as a double bill, and it was rated we had a different rating system to you. We had a rating called a AA, and a AA was a 16 certificate. You had to be 16 or older to get in.
Okay.
And this was rated AA, as was the film Stripes. Do you remember Stripes with Bill Murray and
Yes.
Harold Ramis? And they released Police Academy. Certainly in my cinema, anyway, it was a double bill with Stripes, and we went to see Stripes and Police Academy together. And I'd never seen Stripes before. It was fantastic. So yeah, the first and only good Police Academy movie, in my opinion. And it's not as funny as it was. I mean, it's a film that I don't think is dated very well, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I've seen it recently, and it's not. But
Yeah, a lot of
there's some moments where you're like, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. But
you're
also,
just kind of cringing, and you know, the stuff with Winslow is still pretty funny. You know, when he's doing all his stuff with the
yes.
microphone and
Well,
Tackleberry.
let me finish mentioning the stars of this. We've got Steve Guttenberg,
Yeah.
G.W. Bailey, Kim Cattrall, and
Yeah.
Bubba Smith. So yeah, there's a great list of people.
I think this was the movie that introduced me to Kim Cattrall and a lot of other hot young blooded men.
Not Porky's. She was
No,
in Porky's.
I didn't see Porky's until later. That was a film I rented out on video. I know she did it before this, but this is the first film I saw her.
Cool. And it grossed $81.20 million.
Incorrect, actually. The total gross was, I don't know if that might be US alone, but the total gross was 149.
Oh yeah, this is only
That's US. Is that US?
we're not going from other.
Retro was totally
Yeah.
correct. I was merely
No.
expanding the number.
No, this is for US. Don't I'm not
Don't get into the minutiae, Lance. Be
yeah.
quiet.
Yeah.
I got it.
This is just for US, yeah. And because they did not do international on this, so let's see. William Blake Hall says nostalgic virus. Good. Oh, okay. You guys are talking. Sorry. Stanley says Kim Cattrall from the HBO series that got me through puberty, and Simply Steve says cat call, as I like her, like to call her.
Okay.
And I liked her best in Mannequin. That was really a shining moment for her. And then later on,
that was a film that shouldn't have really worked, but was kind of fun.
yes. And also, Big Trouble in Little China was also.
Well, yeah, we could do a whole stream about that movie.
Of course. And Matilda Maiden says 81.2 million sounds like a lot of pennies. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, I could certainly could do with that.
And Volcano says characters in Police Academy are one-dimensional, thus one-trick ponies, being strong, ventriloquism, being hot, being violent. It was funny though. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, in the 80s. And so now I think we require a lot more for entertainment, but it worked back then. There was some yucks in there.
Yeah.
And Simply Steve 68 says her worst was Star Trek 6.
6. I think that's 6.
Where she played a Vulcan. And I
really liked her as that Vulcan character. I thought she did a superb job on Star Trek.
I think she was okay. I mean, I wasn't really. I think there was more about the character that was interesting, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I like the fact that she betrayed them and she was part of the conspiracy, because in her head it was logical to go against the Klingons. And I love the scene where Spock does the mind meld with her, and he's really, it's that's quite a heavy scene, that. But anyway. Yeah.
And Daryl Johnson says RNG. And Lance.
He's always popping up on. If I've got a stream on, he's on like 2 minutes late. He must have like some sort of a Lance bat signal.
I know, that's really awesome.
Center. Yeah.
And then we've got Footloose, which is we talked about.
Ah, almost paradise.
Shh.
Sorry. Dun, 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 dun.
No, Lance.
I've got the soundtrack to this on vinyl as well. My God, this got played like so often. You know, I
Yeah.
pictured myself in the movie.
Oh, this was great. This was
I
so
was.
great.
This was
I
the
think
film that introduced me to Sarah Jessica Parker.
I think a lot of people were introduced to her in this.
Yeah,
Now, I remember the first thing that came out from this movie was a video for "Let's Hear It for the Boys," and when I heard that, I was
here
like, "Oh,
for the
what a great
boys.
song!" When I heard it, I was like, "Really, this is a great song," but all of the
Yeah,
little clips that were in it was just like, "Wow." And then Kenny Loggins, I'm a big
yeah,
fan of his. So the soundtrack into this was insane, but it was meant to bring in the audience, the teen audience in the 1984 time period, and I think it did so in a very good way. I
yeah.
didn't get to see it in the theaters. That wasn't something my mom wanted to see necessarily.
No, I saw it on video as well because
Yeah,
I was younger when it came out at the cinema, and I was more about spaceships and uh,
yeah, same.
action and ghosts, and I didn't go to see films like Fame and Footloose and Flashdance at the cinema, but I love them all. Now, I
Mhm.
did rent Footloose as soon as it came out
Yeah,
because I realized it wasn't just a one-trick dance. It was sold as a one-trick movie, like
mhm,
there's going to be lots of cool dancing. This is the film, and that's not what it is at all. It's. We talked about it at length on one of your other episodes, so I won't
mhm.
wax lyrical
Yeah,
about
I'll tell a different type of story was when I first saw it in the '80s because I didn't get to see it in the theater. I thought it was okay. But I saw it, like, maybe, I wanna say, like, 5 years ago, and I was like, "Whoa, stop everything."
Yeah,
Because I had the context to appreciate
it's so
it in a
good.
different
It's so
way,
good.
yeah, and
I
I was like,
I
"Wow, this is actually telling a very good story about the preacher." There's a
yeah,
and
really good.
his experience, so and his change, his transformation, it was just wonderful. Love that stuff. Let me read about the story.
Yeah,
The premise here is a city teenager moves to a small town where rock music and dancing have been banned, and his rebellious spirit shakes up the populace. This was directed by Herbert Ross, stars Kevin Bacon, Laurie Singer, John Lithgow, and Diane Wiest. Very, very good. You can catch this now on HBO Max or Max if that's something you like, and Prime Video channels. Um, so underneath these little tabs, it tells you where you can catch them. I haven't been mentioning that
yeah.
for everything. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat.
What are you saying?
Mm. Steve 68 says, a land signal, LOL.
That's not yeah.
and
Everyone needs one of those.
And Manny Stay says, I agree with Lance. I thought that she did a good job in Trek, especially the crying when she was
Yeah,
being mind melded against her will, almost a metaphor. And
yeah.
Steve 68 says, yes, the original Footloose. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I
Only
didn't.
the original. There can be only one.
Yeah, well, I heard from some people that the sequel, well, not the sequel,
Remake.
the remake was not a bad movie, and
No, it was
so
like it was okay. It was just it was fine, but it didn't add anything new and it just felt a bit unnecessary, but it was fine. It was fine.
yeah, and oh, the podcast, nostalgic podcast says, "What a fun show this is."
Ah,
Thank you so much. You're so kind. Thank you. Just, I want to make it fun for everybody. And William Blake Hall says, "Let's see, 1984 movies I like against all odds: Repo Man, This is Spinal Tap, Romancing the Stone, Iceman, The Natural, Star Trek 3, Streets of Fire, Secret." Yep, these
uh,
are all on my list.
the ending of Streets of Fire is something I introduced Retro to fairly recently. Remember I got you to watch that song?
Yes, yes, yes.
Tonight is what it means to be young. That one.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And Smilex is here. Hi, Smilex, because I have avoided this film since its release.
Ah, come on, man. You need to give it a go. You need to give it I mean,
And
honestly, look
I'm not sure. I think that was referencing Police Academy. Is that
oh,
the one we're
maybe,
talking about?
maybe. Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah. I'm sorry because I'm a little bit behind now. Maria Kelly is here. Hi, Maria Kelly
Hey.
says, guess what, everyone? Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2 got an Oscar nom, Best Sound and Visual Effects. Hooray! Yes, yes. I talked about that on Wednesday. I changed my format so that Wednesday mornings I talk about just the headlines that are going on in the entertainment business. So we tried our first one last Wednesday, and it was so good. So I'm going to
I
continue
caught a
on
bit
that
of
one.
that. I caught a bit of that.
You did, yeah.
I can't remember if did I leave a comment in the chat? I think I did, but maybe I
I
didn't.
think you did. Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
It's got a different energy, and we got to the points, and we moved on. It was really great. I loved it,
Oh,
and I had a lot of stories. And guys, I've already started putting together stories for next week, and I've got like 7 stories. Wow.
oh, wow.
And so
It's the retro goss
yeah.
show.
And Simply Steve 68 says John Lithgow as the religious leader. Yes, he was, and he had such a great transformation. He had such a great character arc. It was just lovely, just so lovely. And Maddie says, I agree. And she was able to break out of the hot chick roles. Yeah, yeah, she did. She did. Um, and this is response to this. I like Kim Cattrall. She can act. Yeah, she does have great talent, which I think is being. She's got sort of. I think she has like a little bit of a blacklist on her at the time. At this time being, a lot of people think that she might be difficult to work with, which shouldn't. No one should care about. It's about the art of telling stories.
Is that what Kim Cattrall?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I've
she
heard.
didn't get along with the other ladies, and she was very vocal about that on public platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard mixed things about her, but I'd rather work with her than any of the other cast of
Oh,
Sex and the
yeah,
City, if I
it's
had.
about it's about telling stories. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. I mean, if she's abusive to other people, but she was outspoken about how they treated her. So
Yeah,
I thought we
I
were
didn't have an issue with that, actually.
Yeah, and I thought we were all always listening to victims now. We like, but when it came to her, it was, shut up and stay quiet. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I just see some injustice there, and I don't like it. Sorry about getting feisty.
Oh,
And
yeah. Save
simply
that for your Wednesday, show retro.
I will. I will. Thank you for keeping me in line. And see, Simply Steve 68 says, Kevin, all is well, Bacon. Yes, I love him so much. He's so great and still is a fantastic actor and has he's so humble and just so talented. And Maddie says, I'm not a Highlander. I'm a lowlander. There can be a few. That's nice.
Highlander was 1986.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
And Maria Kelly says, by the way, good afternoon, everybody. Absolutely. Good afternoon to you as
Good
well.
evening
Oh,
from the
good evening for
UK.
you. Yes, yes. Sorry.
9:15 here.
And William Blake Hall says, Conan the Destroyer, you must grab him and take him in the never ending story, Buckaroo Banzai, Sheena. You're way ahead of us, William Blake Hall. This all is on the list. We got to get there.
Yeah, dude, don't jump ahead. We're getting there. Last
I won't, he's excited about it. And so this is one of the biggest years for all these movies. Look at all the titles. They're
Yeah.
incredible. They're incredible.
I've got a list of, do you know that 4,012 movies were released that year? Can you believe that? 4,012.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, that's
Yeah,
gonna
I don't have
obviously
that many on, by the
no,
way.
I mean, it's gonna include a lot of Pantaloons
Oh
films.
my
Once you get
god.
past the first 100, you get onto titles like Hell Behind Bars and, um, other straight to video fare.
And San Lee says, "Is Tom Cruise the only actor who's since the 1984?" Well, we've got a whole bunch. We've got John Lithgow still acting. We got Kevin Bacon still acting. Who else?
Yeah.
We identified a few others that are still going at it. Let's see. Elizabeth Shue here. Um,
Oh, who's
uh,
still acting? He means who's still acting now. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Even Harrison Ford is still
Harrison
going
Ford.
at it.
Yeah.
Kei Kwan is still going at it.
Bill
Uh,
Murray's still going. Dan
yeah,
Aykroyd's still going.
Eddie
Arnie,
Eddie Murphy. Um,
Bacon.
uh, yep. I haven't seen Sigourney Weaver in anything lately, but I guess you can still say she's a modern actress because she was in the Avatar movies. And
Yeah, yeah, no, she was in the latest Avatar movie, and she's in the next 60. So she's going to be around for a while.
yeah, I mean, actually, Stan Lee, you just mentioned something to me, which is going to be a great show. I think I have an idea for a show based on this comment. So we'll put a thumbnail on it. Let's see. Let's keep going really quick. William Blake Hall says the killing feeds to
Really.
more
Dude,
more movies.
ease
How
up
about
the
it? Yeah.
list, man. That's what we're doing here already. Everyone's jumping in with their favorites early on.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit hard to keep going, but we appreciate all the list. And Maria Kelly says John Lithgow is awesome as Lord Warfin and the Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. Um, and
Yeah.
let's see. And yeah, we'll we're just gonna zoom down really quickly.
Yeah, I don't think you need to read out the big booty one comment on here.
Well, thanks for saying it out loud.
Oh, sorry.
William Blake Hall says Maria Starman
And
is one of John Carpenter movie that RNG may appreciate watching. Yes, I did. I have watched it. I don't remember every single detail on, but I did watch it ages ago. It was on HBO like all the time, right?
I have it right here. I just ordered it recently on Blu-ray. I haven't watched it on Blu-ray yet, but I've also got the soundtrack on vinyl, and was one of my favorite Carpenter movies, and still is, because it's very different for a John Carpenter film. Very different.
All right, so it looks like you guys want to talk more about the movies that are coming up. So I'm gonna forge ahead. I'm gonna skip a few. If you need to repeat, go on ahead, do so, please. And William
Mm.
Blake Hall says my favorite special effect in The Golden Child is Charlotte Lewis. And someplace Steve says romancing the stone, Kathleen Turner and Mike Douglas. Yes, they
There's
were
there's
fantastic.
a very
And Jen
famous
Newman.
gaff in *Romancing the Stone*, which Michael Douglas talked about when he was being interviewed at, over here.
Uh-huh.
When he was promoting the show, and there's a scene where they jump off this waterfall when they're being pursued by the bad guys, and you might remember that the gemstone that they've got hold of is in a suitcase that he's carrying, like a little brown bag. And when he jumps off the waterfall, the
Mhm.
stuntman didn't manage to hang on to the
He
bag, and in the shot it goes flying away from his body. So he probably would have lost the stone and the bag.
Ay,
And
ay, ay.
then in the shot when he breaks out of the water, he's hanging. He's still got it. He's hanging on to it. So yeah, it's a pretty funny gaff. I really liked that movie. I still got a real soft spot for it. Way more than the sequel. And I
Yeah,
had a
keep
massive crush on Kathleen Turner
keep
after that.
talking. I'm just gonna
Oh,
go.
I'm filling in. Oh, right, okay. So let me talk about my crush with Kathleen Turner. Um, Yeah, no, I saw that at the cinema with Martin, my neighbor friend again. I think we went back to see it again. I think we went to see it twice. And yeah, it just was really fun. It was sort of
Oh,
quite light, isn't it? It's very the action is of the type where lots of machine guns fire at things, but no one ever really gets killed. I think there's a couple of bad guys that fall off walls and stuff in the last
Yeah,
fight.
there was
Um,
something about it that was had a nostalgic feel for a lot of the movies that were done. Um,
it remind you know the Swiss Family Robinson Disney movie, which has
I
it's got a lot of action. It's got like pirates and tigers and all that
mhm.
kind. It had that, you know, you could take a family to see this. You could take young kids to
Oh,
see
yeah.
this. And
My
I
mom took
don't
me to
think
see
there'd
it.
be anything too. It's good. Yeah, it's a good all round fun family adventure
Yeah.
movie. The magic of which sadly just wasn't really recaptured in the Jewel of the Nile. I never thought
I like Jewel of the
I
Nine for
like it. Yeah,
other reasons, yeah, but not yeah,
it
they
wasn't
it
as good
wasn't
as
the
this.
same. Yeah.
The
And,
opening 20 minutes was great though.
yeah.
Yeah, really like that.
So, the synopsis for anyone who has not seen Romancing the Stone is a mousy romance novelist sets off for Colombia to ransom her kidnapped sister and soon finds herself in the middle of a dangerous adventure hunting for treasure and with a mercenary rogue. That's what they call him. Nice. And the director was Robert Zemeckis. This stars Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, Danny DeVito, who's still working, and Zach Norman. Absolutely incredible.
I
Um,
think also that was Michael Stone's first Michael Douglas's first movie. It was his, like,
was
first
it his
starring
first
role
movie?
in a feature film, and it wasn't supposed to be him. Sylvester Stallone was cast.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine Stallone and Turner? It just doesn't quite,
Oh, yeah.
fit, and Stallone dropped out at the last minute, and Douglas was looking to get into feature films now that Streets of San Francisco had wrapped up. He wanted to make that leap, and they just took a gamble on him. And I mean, he was great. You know, he had natural charisma. He was fantastic in the part.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, well, he's perfect for the role. And Z is here. Hello, Z. How are you? Says great
Really.
movie. Yes. And let's see, William Blake Hall says Kathleen Turner. What a
She
voice,
she does
right?
have a very
Goodness,
gravelly.
I love that movie. She was in something with Wachowski. I love that movie. It's
Oh,
been years since
was
I've
like
seen
a
it.
Private Eye.
Yes, it was so good.
P.I. Wachowski or
Yes.
something like
And Smiley says that, Turner's legs. Yeah, she
that.
does have a great physique. And, Z says, "Saw that at the theater with my best friend, Greg. Great memory. He's still my best friend." Oh, stop it. Stop it. You're getting right here into my heart. Uh, yeah, I saw this with my mom, and, we had such a great time. Um,
That
and,
was
uh
a fun film.
Simply Steve 68 says, "Good model for Jessica Rabbit." Yes, who she would later voice. Um,
Yeah,
and let's see,
great
Stanley
film.
says that Swiss Family Robinson. I watched it like 2,000 times. I've never seen it, guys. I guess that's my on my list now. And Maria Kelly says, "Romancing the Stone" is a classic rom-com. I love the Colombian gang leader who loves Joan Wilder's books. Yes, it was charming. It was
Yeah.
charming. So it was the blend of action adventure and romance, which I particularly like that blend a lot. Um, and wish they would do more of those things. And William Blake Hall says, "I appreciate Mary Ellen Trainor. She was the kidnapped sister. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
You can see Trainor all
yeah,
over the 80s. Yes, she was.
she was the newsreader in Die Hard, and I think she sadly passed away, from cancer, I think about 10 years ago or something, which is
Oh,
it's a shame. Yeah, 2015, yeah.
okay.
Great actress though, should have been given bigger roles
Yeah,
in
yeah.
yeah.
And Simply Steve is agreeing with you that was Michael's first
Yeah, it was Mike's, yeah.
pick.
Yeah.
And William says Michael Douglas, he made small movies first, like Adam at 6 a.m. Okay.
I think that was a made for TV movie though. I think this was his first, like, guaranteed cinema release, you know, big cinema. They were putting a lot of money in P&A on this one. So I think he did some TV movies, but I think this was the
What is Adam at 6 a.m.? Looks
um
interesting.
I've seen it because I remember the title. Let me have a quick butcher's. Shall I have a look at that while you're plowing on? Do you
Sure.
want me to?
And Maddie said, he says, Kathleen Turner was also the voice of Jessica Rabbit. Yes.
Yeah.
And Simply Steve says, V.I.
Yeah.
Wachowski. Yes. That was such a cool movie. And I do love, Wachowski. Yes. Sorry. And yes, it was such a cool movie. I loved it. And it was something I enjoyed. It's been a while, so I need to watch it again to see if it still holds up.
I
And
saw it at the cinema. I saw it at the cinema.
did you enjoy your experience?
That you know what? I saw it at the cinema. That's the only time I saw it. I can't really remember it, to be honest. I guess I thought it was okay. There were a lot of comedies, sort of comedy thrillers around that time, and a lot of them kind of blended into one. But yeah, I don't remember thinking it was terrible, but I don't remember thinking it was amazing. So I guess it was, for me, it was just average. But I could be
Oh,
wrong.
okay, yes, and Maddie's daddy is clearing up something that you said. To any Americans who aren't familiar, when he says news reader, that's what we call news anchor. Yes, and thank you.
Sorry, so I'm gonna correct myself. This was the first film that Michael Douglas was in that was a huge hit.
Okay.
And that's why they weren't sure about casting him, because he had done supporting roles in other feature films, notably Coma, which he's very
Oh
good.
yes, Coma. Yes. Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
yes, I remember Coma. That was such a good film.
Coma was his first film
Oh
out
yes,
after Streets of San Francisco. He wasn't the lead; he was the supporting lead, I guess.
he looks so different.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make was this was really the film where he was equal billing. He was the lead, along with, of course, Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a big back movie. You know, but he did do the Star Chamber right before this, and that was a flop. Actually, it's not a terrible film. It's an underrated film. I love Coma. Coma's a movie I want to do a retro review of.
Oh
Actually,
yes, yeah. I'm gonna actually do a really nice deep dive on it because
it's so
it blows your mind.
you should come on it when I do the review. It's such a creepy
We'll
movie
see. Yeah, it's so creepy. I remember I saw this when I was a kid, so
yeah.
that gives you an idea. Like, oh my God, what it
Remember
blew my mind.
that building? It's called the whatever it is, the Bergman Institute or something, where it's all going on, and it's just that really weird looking building that looks like a kind of block of cement that's surrounded by a grass moat. And I went and had a look at that on Google Earth to see if it was still there, and it is still there. And it's still used by some company or other, but they haven't got a big sign up saying Coma was filmed here, which is a shame.
Yeah, and yes, Michael Douglas saved Guinevere Bujold's life in Coma. Yeah, yeah, because she was about to become one of those victims
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Seriously.
She was great in that film,
Oh
actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
She was perfect for emoting that stuff, but I don't want to stay too long on that
No,
film.
no, no.
But
We're doing 1984, not 74.
yes, but just as an example, he did look a lot different, and so that's one of the things to take into consideration. In many ways, this was the first time we saw him too like this, and but he was in like a whole bunch of like after this movie, it was in everything.
This was when he did. This was the film that turned him from supporting. He was kind of almost like a supporting, good-looking character actor prior to this, and then this is the film that made him bankable as a box office name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then boom. The rest is Wall Street. A couple of years later, the rest is history.
Yeah, that's right. He did that. And let's see. And Smilex says, "I love Star Chamber. All those paranoid American thrillers are great in the '70s, weren't they? Have a marathon with Capricorn Warrant,
I
all
think
the
it was.
President's Men
I
and
think it
marathon."
was it Smilex that sent me the Capricorn 1 poster? It was somebody from your stream who sent me the Capricorn
I
1.
would not know because I don't know what's in your mailbox.
No, remember I got the poster out and showed it on your stream,
Yeah,
remember?
but I don't know. You didn't. I don't remember you saying who it was.
It
Sorry.
was somebody from chat just like literally messaged my Facebook, and because I'd always said I wanted a poster for that film, and next thing I knew there was one on its way to me,
That's pretty cool. Guys, you guys rock.
Yeah. Guys, I also want a 3-bedroom house in London, so if anyone can make that happen,
Oh boy.
that'd be great. Enough room for Retro and Co to stay over.
Oh, okay. Keith E says that Joseph Begay sent the poster.
He did. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you, Joseph Begay. He did.
Joseph,
He
a
did.
patron of the arts.
Keith,
He's
you're a
amazing.
encyclopedia of knowledge. See,
Yes,
I've just
holding it
proven that
down
my
for us.
memory is as rubbish as Retro's. There you go. So, you said your memory was bad. I've just shown that mine is worse, I think. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
Okay.
I'm going now.
I will
Bye.
not disagree with you. to hush now. Simmer down now. Okay, let's see. Let's get things back on track again. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. No, absolutely not. Admiral Kirk and his bridge crew risked their careers stealing the decommissioned USS Enterprise to return to the restricted Genesis planet to recover Spock's body.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting because in Star Trek 2, spoiler alert, Spock dies in that. So, gross of this for the U.S. is 76.47 million, which was really good at the
Pretty
time.
good. Yeah. That's probably about 150 million in today's money, I would think, or 200 maybe.
Yeah, that's really good. And so we got some quotes here. We got Sam Lee saying, "I am and always will be your friend."
Yeah.
Stop the tears, the tears. And Star Trek 3, Christopher Lloyd as Commander Lord Crudge gets his face stomped by Kirk.
Cruz. He
Cruz,
means
sorry, Cruz.
yeah, Commander Cruz, isn't it?
Thank you for that. What did I say? Crudge.
Crudge is. I mean, that's how it's pronounced in Romulan, I think.
Crunch. Okay, Crudge. And where's the double O? And William Blake Hall says they shouldn't have used a Promoter Dagnabbit. And Protomatter, sorry. They should have used Protomatter. And William Blake Hall says, I have had enough of you. Yes, I remember. We all remember. And simply, Steve 68 says, poor Spock having to endure Pan-Farr again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mind melding his way back into the franchise.
Yeah. I mean, let's just talk about the poster there. I mean, stop it. That looks pretty awesome.
I used to have that poster, but I remember it was on my wall for a long time. I had that one and I had Wrath of Khan next to each other, and they got, you'd hold them up with blue tack back then, and they got ripped.
Oh,
and my Wrath of Khan one had other photographs of Wrath of Khan that I'd managed to find, and I put them around the poster, so it was like a poster within a poster. Probably ruining its original value, but I was creative. What can I tell you?
Yeah. And Smiling says, I love all those Trek movie posters. They look gorgeous. Yeah. Whoever was illustrating those were just killing it. And Volcano says, Kathleen Turner was hilarious in Serial Mom. And damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a YouTuber. That's a good one, Maria Kelly. Yeah, so let's see. The next one up is Purple Rain. Don't sing the songs, Lance.
Yeah, okay. Well, here's a funny thing.
Even though all of them are amazing.
I've never seen this film all the way through.
What?
Yeah.
Lance!
Yeah. Hey, listen, there's going to be some on my 84 list that you've not seen.
Oh, you
haven't seen Streets of Fire.
Okay, so where did we go wrong here? I have seen Streets of Fire.
Oh, okay. I thought you hadn't seen Streets of Fire.
Yeah, I think I took it off the list because I don't remember. See, I don't
Oh,
remember. I don't remember the details of it. I took it off
gosh.
my list. Um, but I did see it. I just don't remember
It's one of the
everything
most
in
underrated films of that year, without a
yeah,
doubt.
we're
Yeah,
gonna rectify all that stuff. And so Purple Rain,
that's
a
right.
young musician tormented by an abusive situation at home must contend with a rival singer, a burgeoning romance, and his own dissatisfied band as his star begins to rise. Very,
Mm.
very. I think a lot of these explanations or these descriptions are pretty accurate to what is going on in the film. It is directed by Albert Magnoli. It stars Prince Apollonia Cortero, who has a YouTube channel, by the way.
Oh,
Morris
yeah?
Day. Oh, yeah. You should check it out. She has a lot of detailed information about what happened during
Oh,
her time with knowing Prince. We've got
I wonder if
Morris
I
Day.
can, wonder if I can get her to come on my channel. That'd be
I'm
good.
sure she's open to talk to a lot of people. I think
Yeah,
she was on a YouTuber's channel doing an interview about 6 months ago. And
okay.
Olga Carlatos is also in this. It grossed 68.39 million in the box office. You can watch this on Prime. Uh, I thought maybe you can catch wasn't it a Warner Brothers film? Thought you could catch it on, but I could be
Um,
wrong about that. I could be very wrong
I
about that.
I can't remember, which company, distributed it or
I
funded
thought,
it.
yeah,
Um,
I thought it was that.
I don't
And
remember
Sam
it being
Mason.
I don't remember it being in a Warner Brothers clamshell box on, um, VHS, but I could be wrong. Search for Spock was Nimoy's directional debut, I believe, yeah.
Oh, it was. Oh,
Yeah.
great. Um, and did we go over that? No, no,
Uh,
we didn't. Oh,
yeah.
sorry about this, guys. We're going back a step for just
Are we?
to double check to talk about. It was directed by Leonard Nimoy,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
William Shatner is the star. Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, and James Doohan. And it grossed $76.47
That
million
was the only
dollars.
reason that he agreed to come back, was because he got to direct the film. That was the condition. Otherwise he wasn't gonna do it.
Yes, so sorry about skipping over those little details
Uh,
there. Those big details
we
actually.
we can't cover everything on, all of them, otherwise we'll be here till 4 in the morning.
Well,
My time.
I mean, that's the point of this is actually to do a deeper kind of exploration of it, and also to voice how we feel about a lot of these. Um, and William Blake calls Streets of Fire. You don't remember Diane Lane? Of course, I remember Diane Lane.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't remember all the events that happened. And I've watched this movie more than once. So like I said, I was having trouble remembering it. So I took it off my list of watched, so I can make sure to watch it for again. And Maddie says,
Wow.
I was a bodyguard for the New Orleans leg of his Rain tour. His bodyguards got into a fight at at the Grammys,
Yeah.
and their court date was the same day as the New Orleans stop of the tour. That
Right.
sounds really, really cool. That sounds really, I hope they were all nice and they were cool. Maria Kelly says, fun fact, Prince won an Oscar for Best Original Soundtrack for this movie. Wow, I didn't even know. I don't remember that, but yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
that
know that.
sounds really cool. And simply Steve says, Apollonia Cotero, yes. And Jason Sandberg is here. Hello, Jason. How are you today? This Purple Rain is the greatest soundtrack of all time. Yes, I mean, it's really great. It is great. I hear it at least once, at least part of it, or one or two songs every single day. It's really great. And Z says, geez, I'm feeling old. I can't believe that these movies are were
Oh,
40 years ago.
damn,
Well,
man. Don't say that. Makes me feel old.
No, guys, we're wise. We're wise. Okay, please.
Yeah.
We're wise. We know so much. We've got 40 years of knowledge, and we are not old. We are very wise and
Mhm.
getting wiser by the day. And
Exactly.
yes, and if
I
anything, youthing. If anything,
I
when
bask
he
in
was
the glow of retro's wisdom. That's what I always tell people.
you're
Trying to
you
try and absorb some of that wise knowledge.
Oh, you're too kind. And Blake Hall says some of my favorite Prince movie was from the 1989 Batman movie. Wow. Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, I
yes, yes,
forgot
yes,
he
yes.
did music for that. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Um, and Jack says almost brought the same kind of motorcycle you see in Prince used in the movie. You almost bought one, got a Harley instead. Oh, cool.
Damn, man, you got a Harley? Okay, if I ever
Yeah.
come back to the States, we're hanging out.
And Smiley says it's weird being the same age as old people.
Yeah. I'm sure
What are you
Retro and
talking
I will
about?
say that one day in about 20 years' time when we're the same age as old people. We'll be 20, 30 years, 40.
Oh man, well, I never look at age like that. I mean, you could live to be 100. My goodness, you're 40 years. I mean, that's
I hope
no
I
time.
don't look 100.
And Smiley says, isn't it being so bad being old is cool." Yeah, I think it could be cool, but I don't think we're necessarily there yet.
No,
100 is old.
when we get there, we'll let you know if it's cool, but that'll be a very, very, very long time from now.
Yeah, when you're like 90, you're gonna be like, wow,
Mm.
those days when I was 40 years younger and 50, my goodness.
Mm.
Oh, and Z says, LOL. And yeah, we've got a ways to go, guys.
We caught up. Let's do more films.
Okay, so the next one says here that I didn't see it, but I did see it. But again, I this is one I need to see again because I my memory issue, and it is Amadeus.
Yeah.
And I do remember this being a really good character study, and having a lot of emotional pull to it, as far as my memory goes. And we've let's see, I'll read this off. The life, success, and troubles of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, as told by Antonio Salieri, the oh my god, I can't read that word, contemporaneous composer
Contemporaneous.
who was deeply jealous of Mozart's talent and claimed to have murdered him. And this was directed by Milos Forman. Stars F. Murray Abraham, was amazing. Tom Hulce, Elizabeth Burridge, and Roy Dotrice. It
Mm.
grossed 51.97 million, and that's still on the higher end for that year. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it got a lot of award nominations, and the acting was good. In the UK, it got quite a limited cinema release, and we didn't see it until it came out on video. But it came out on video. The 1984 to 85 and 86 is when that time between video release and movie release started to slowly shrink. And by the early 90s, it was 6 months.
yeah. There
Um,
there was a high turn, like a really quick turnover
yeah,
in the 90s and early aughts.
because they wanted
Um,
those straight to video VHS bucks, baby. So they were
yeah.
keen to
I
keen to
think by the early aughts, they were starting to like, and they had already started into the DVD
yeah,
you had to get everything
yeah.
DVD by then. Um,
Yeah,
and
buy
Smilex
everything again.
says, yeah, yeah. And Smilex says F. Murray Abraham, it was absolutely brilliant
He
in this
was.
film.
He was I think
And
he got nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting.
mm,
Yeah.
and Smilex says John Williams is our Mozart. I would. I would agree with that. Yeah, he's pretty fierce. Um, and Jack says Tom Hulce was great in Amadeus. Don't forget his breakout role in Animal House. Yes, a few years earlier. That's true. That's true. And Jack says, "Rock Me Amadeus." Oh, I love that song. I played it
Yeah,
with
it won
so
about
much.
7 or 8 Academy Awards, and actually F. Murray Abraham won for Best Supporting.
I don't doubt it
Yeah.
because his work is, he was fantastic. And yes, Simply Steve says yes. Animal House is as Atta, I think,
Yeah, 8.
and Rock Me, Rock Me, Doctor Zayas.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the isn't that from the is that The Simpsons or Family Guy? I forget which one.
um,
And they
uh,
they
Doctor
go to see
Zayas.
Planet of the Apes, the musical, and then there's a song that goes, "Dr. Matthias, Dr. Matthias, Dr. Matthias, Dr. Matthias." Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah,
And,
I forgot which one it was. Either The
I think it was
Simpsons.
Simpsons, yeah, I think it was
Yeah, I
Simpsons.
think it was The Simpsons, or if not,
Um,
the other show. Let's see. Okay,
yeah.
so this is a movie I've never seen. Tightrope. It says here, New Orleans single dad and cop Wes Block goes after a serious rapist killer, but when
Yeah.
he gets too close to the hunter, suddenly he becomes the hunted. And it is directed by Richard Tuggle and Clint Eastwood together. Stars Clint Eastwood, Guinevere Bujold, and Dan Hedaya and Allison Eastwood. It grossed 48.14 million. Uh, any words you've seen this?
Yeah, I saw it. This was another one that, we go down Saturday to the video shop. We were the first ones to rent it out. And it was an 18, it was I think we'd just gone to 18 certificate around this time.
Okay.
Instead of X, we used to have X certificate, which kind of got associated with the wrong kind of movie. So that's part of the reason for the push for recertification.
Hmm.
It's basically a Dirty Harry movie, but with Clint Eastwood playing a much darker, more grounded cop, and he's visiting. He can't. He through the course of the narrative. I don't want to say too much because it's
Okay.
quite an adult film, but he meets various female characters who the serial killer then deliberately starts
Oh,
picking them off.
okay.
So it becomes very personal. It's quite a dark film.
Okay.
Much the Dirty Harry stuff is almost like a pulp novel type sort of action thrillers, whereas Tightrope is much darker.
Okay.
But a film, if you like that sort of thing, it's worth watching it. Yeah, I mean, it could have almost been, but I think it's one of Eastwood's first attempts at trying to get taken as a more serious actor, but in a very safe role where he knew.
And that is in reply to Simply Steve's comment here. You think that Tightrope would have been part of the Dirty Harry series?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it could have easily been, but he does turn out he does go make quite an effort to make the character quite different. Oh my god, I love this movie, The Natural.
The Natural. This is one of
Absolutely
your.
love this film. Love this film.
Oh, okay. So let me read off the stats, and then I want to let you go at it.
Yeah,
The Natural, a middle-aged unknown becomes seemingly out of. Comes out seemingly out of nowhere to become a legend baseball player with the most supernatural talent. And directed by Barry Levinson,
yeah,
and it stars Robert Redford, Robert Duvall, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger. Wow, look at that star-studded list there. And it grossed 47.95 million in the US. So wow,
yeah.
wow, 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 wow.
So
Just
how I came to see this movie was um, there was a chain of what we call news agents that decided to try and get in on the video rental market,
mhm,
and it didn't really work for them because they could only afford to stock in like 20 or 30 movies. So why would you go to that store instead of going to the mum and pop video store that had like, 2000 movies?
Mhm.
So that idea went, as we say in the UK, tits up pretty quick. And so they were, I walked into,
Lance, language.
I mean, it didn't go well. And I walked into the store and there were all these videos for sale for $1.99. Like, and this is before films were really on sell through. The only film you could get on sell through around this time was Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was an experiment, and the second one was Footloose.
Okay.
And hey, Stunt Brat. And so I saw The Natural, and I thought, The Natural, Robert Redford, good actor. I'll check it out. And I decided to buy it. I bought this, and I bought Amityville 2, which was a mistake.
Oh,
And this film is superb. I mean, I don't think it got a cinema release in the UK because we're not of the baseball culture,
okay.
and I wasn't a baseball guy, but I absolutely loved this movie, and it was the first time I'd seen Glenn Close in a film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't. I'd already seen. I think Cocoon came out in '85, so actually it might have been the first time I saw Wilford Brimley in a movie as well. You got Robert Prosky in there. You got Richard Farnsworth in there. So you've got these real Robert Duvall. You've got these real heavy hitters, and it's not a true story, but it feels like it should be, about a sort of down on his luck older baseball player who ends up getting a shot at playing for a big team that's also down on its luck, and he sort of
Okay.
seems to have a magical bat, although that's kept very minimal.
Okay.
There's no scenes with witches or anything like this. And and the music. I mean, the music for the film is so beautiful. It's a really lovely score composed by Randy Newman, um,
Oh,
and
oh,
it's got a really emotional, evocative feel to it. And I would say this is probably my favorite baseball movie of all time. Out of all the
oh,
baseball
wow.
films that there are, I
Yeah.
like this even more than Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am, um, there's a whole bunch of people that just came through the door just now.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
welcome everyone who just walked in. We got Botanical Brother in the house. Says greetings, movie masters. Oh wow,
Well, hey,
we've got Clan Retro. We've got movie masters.
what
We're
a
doing finally.
what a title. I hope we can live up to such expectations.
Yes, my goodness. I'm just loving that. And let's
Let me
see.
dash to the bathroom real quick while you're
Okay.
jumping on those.
Okay. Yes. And thank you, Lance, for that exquisite um, explanation of the film. Um, it's adorable. And Pod Racing Palpatine is here. Hello, great to see you. I haven't seen you on the channel, at least on one of the live streams. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And Moonbeam 87 is here. And did leave a message earlier. You've been quiet for a few minutes there. Says 84, the year I was introduced to cats. I was watching Lucy and Desi before Laughter. The Natural Sword on cable. I love how he gets his bat lightning. Oh, you guys are just so so funny. And Maddie said you'd be surprised at the language they get away with on the BBC. Oh wow. I I haven't watched anything from the BBC in a long time, so yeah. And oh yes, once again, hello, Stunt Brett. I haven't formally said hello to my precious, lovely Stunt Brett. Oh my God, love you so much. I hope you are doing well today. So great to see you in the chat. Let's see. Botanical Brother says, field of baseball dreams." And Smilax says, I wonder if it is if that was a Martin's newspaper shop. My local also tried to do rentals. I remember renting Blade Runner twice.
Yeah, I don't know if Smilex is in the UK. It was the name of it will come to me. Something like Lorimer's, I think was the name of the. It was a chain of newsagent and post offices they were, and they'd get like a rolly stand thing with 20 or 30 videos in, but those came and went pretty fast. People that tried to do it like that.
And okay. So here's some explanation. Moonbeam says, "Now, baseball is the American pastime. England has cricket. Is cricket big in your life?"
Well, I mean, it's a sport that's played by posh boys at posh schools, whereas baseball is or rounders, as we call it in the UK, is something that can be played by anyone. You need to have quite a specific pitch to play cricket. We used to play it at the school I went to when I was really young, and I absolutely detested playing it. I really did. But I mean, it's quite popular. We got the cricket ground lords, and we have tours against Australia and stuff. But there's been a couple of cricket movies. None of them have been gripping or interesting or entertaining. I'm being a bit hard on that topic, sorry, and I'm not American, and I'm not particularly into baseball, but there's 4 or 5 baseball movies. I absolutely love them.
I will definitely check this one out and see if there's
You'll like this film.
Well, the actors, I mean, come on, we're talking about top-notch actors.
You'll love this film. It's got a nice romantic narrative in it as well.
Okay.
And it's got a really beautiful ending that's just going to make the retro heart go all gooey. So.
Okay. We love that. And Stumpret says that Clint asked me out once, but I was seeing someone. Wow. I can't. I'm trying to think in his voice, like how he would approach that. It's just kind of strange.
Clint asked me out once, but I was seeing someone. So, Stumpret.
And Smiler says controversial fave baseball film is Cobb. Oh, I never heard of that one.
It's a biopic film. It's a very different kind of movie. It's,
And Jack says the natural changed the ending from the source material to a happy ending. Good choice. It was the best baseball. It is the best baseball movie. Okay, well, guys, you've sold me. I will put it on my list. And Moonbeam says, if you build it, he will come. And let's see.
Yeah, it was Redford's first acting role in 3 years. He hadn't done anything since 1980, I think.
Oh yeah. He was starting to get very particular about the roles he was playing. And let's see, let's go keep going. Simply Steve says, cool, Randy Newman. The best part was when the ball hits the lights and slow motion used with music. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this film a lot, but we've got loads to get through, so I'll restrain and we'll do a natural special.
Okay.
I think I'm going to do a baseball movies stream on my channel, actually.
That sounds like fun. And Stumprat says Clint is very loyal to his crew. He hired the same peeps over and over, including the stuntman.
Yeah, I heard that, and why not?
Yeah. So I'm going to zoom down. And Daryl says, what RNG, you never seen the Graham Norton show? Oh, I've totally seen that many shows. And Moonbeam says, Lucy Desi before the laughter 19. It's free on. Oh, I guess maybe am I interrupting somebody's comment? Because it's totally.
I don't think you're interrupting. It's your channel.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if he was mentioning that answering somebody else.
No.
I see. Okay, so more. I'm gonna just try to stick to the comments that
focused on 1984 and associated topics.
Yes, thank you.
We can get into Riddick another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time. But Moonbeam 87 says The Natural is a film. Have tissues retro. Okay, so I will have to. Thank you for the warning.
Well, I found out there's a director's cut of it as well, which I've never seen.
Oh boy.
So I have to see this. Damn, man. Um,
And Jamalama says, "Love the natural." Oh, great, 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 great. All right, I'm gonna keep going, guys. Um, okay, this is one my mom took me to the theater to see. Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. A missing heir of respected Scottish family raised in African jungles by animals finally returns to his
yeah.
estate only to realize that difference between the two worlds is really significant. I don't know who wrote this, but they're missing all sorts of. It's anyway. It stars actually is directed by Hugh Hudson.
Yeah, who
And,
did Chariots of Fire?
oh wow, yeah.
This film was a massive flop, I remember.
Well, let me keep going. It
Yeah,
stars Christopher Lambert and Lambert, Andy McDowell, Ralph Richardson, Ian Holm. And
yeah.
I remember my mom took me to see this, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Um,
Yeah,
it's hard.
I saw it way later, and I kinda liked it when I saw it later. I saw bits of it when it came out and just wasn't impressed at the time, and it flopped in the UK. I think it did okay elsewhere, but it
Yeah,
flopped in
yeah.
the UK.
He said he's mentioning some lines from the movie. Mother, father, family. He like
I remember
repeated
that.
it over and
Mhm.
over again. Yeah, that was a great line from that that movie. There was certain things that they did in Greystoke that was very felt a little like somebody actually like thought, what would it be like to actually grow up in the jungle? They actually tried here
Yeah.
to dig a little bit deeper into this, Tarzan mythical character, and I respected it for that a lot. Uh, Lambert was really good. I enjoyed his version. His his accent works here because he's playing someone who's been um, disassociated with English, British, or Scottish background. And then I guess after that, it's like, oh, you've already played a Scottish person. Why don't we just put you as the Highlander? Makes no sense. But yeah, spot rating says there could only be one. Yeah, but it was great. I loved this movie, and Glenn Close actually did the voice for Andy McDowell's character in the story, which was a kind of offsetting, and I'm sure it must have been very embarrassing for Annie McDowell. She worked very hard on trying to get rid of her southern accent for this,
Sorry,
and
so her voice was, it was dubbed by Glenn Close, right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was so
Yeah.
it was the most awkward thing, and I think that's the reason why this movie failed. In what it was trying to accomplish there. But if yeah, but also yeah, she tried very hard to get rid of that accent and could not um, do it. And I suppose over time she could have, but it just wasn't. Um, it wasn't in time for the movie. So
Mm.
very, I loved it. I love the story, and
The screenplay was written by legendary screenwriter Robert Towne, and, if you've I won't go into big detail now, but it was supposed to be his project that he was gonna direct. Was writing this screenplay is the one that made him want to also direct, and, lots of stuff happened, and eventually he lost his he owned, like, some of the rights, and I think he had to sell them.
oh wow,
And, yeah, and he came into conflict with, the studio head at the time, and so the film ended up, with different people, and David Geffen was the person he had the big falling out with.
wow.
So yeah, it was, but hey, um,
And Maddie's daddy says I met Christopher Lambert at a con in Salt Lake City. He was surprisingly nice guy.
yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
nice things. I've heard nice things about him, for the most
that's
part.
sweet. I love to hear that because there's so many people who aren't.
Mostly good stories, mostly.
Yeah, yeah. And Jack says Greystoke is probably the best of the Tarzan films, despite bombing at the box office.
Um, I saw a black and white one with, like, carnivorous plants and giant spiders in it, one of, like, the old ones.
The old ones, yeah, they were
Oh,
fun.
I
They were a
love
lot of fun.
those, man. I wish they'd make a Tarzan movie like that, that's kind of
Those
like
just silly fun.
yeah, I loved all those.
Yeah,
Whenever there was carnivorous plants in it, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is cool. This is what Tarzan should
yeah.
be."
Yeah, it missed I think this movie kinda set up a different way to look at Tarzan, and also there was like there's like a Disney or no, I'm sorry, an animated movie that also kinda played with that, you know, the Tarzan of 2 worlds,
Was that
and
the
I
one with
don't
the
like
song by Phil Collins in it?
yeah, he did a lot of
Tarzan, that thing, yeah, man, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I think, really, I think when it comes to, uh, they need to go back to the fun, but the problem also too is if they keep Tarzan in the jungle, who are the people in the jungle, right? And so it becomes a story of like, oh, is that something they want to go to? So in many ways, Tarzan is one of those characters we're probably going to end up losing, like we lost Sinbad. I think we lost
Did you
to.
see the 1980s Tarzan animated series? You know, the one that was like, "Da da da da, Tarzan, Lord
No,
of the Jungle." Ah! Kind of in the title, and, yeah, I mean, it
I'm
sounds
like this,
crazy.
Lance.
Right. Look, that impression is not even anywhere near close to the real thing, so
Okay.
I think you'll be all right. But yeah, it was, and it was like a Hanna-Barbera, production or
Oh, maybe I've
one of
seen.
those
I
company
may have
productions.
seen this. Yeah, I may have seen this.
And they
And
had 2 episodes about a spaceship that crashed in the jungle, which was they were my 2 favorite eps. Um, I'll find some deets about that for you.
okay. John Walker is here. How are you doing? John Walker says hello, RNG, and everyone in the chat. So good to see you. And let's see. Maddie said, oh, I wanted to hit this one. Moonbeam says, 87 says, oh, Greystoke starring Connor McLeod himself. Yes.
Yeah.
And Maddie says the French kept telling Tarzan that he had to go back to England because nothing was as important as family, but Tarzan first lost his human parents, then his ape mother, then his grandfather. Yeah, that's so. It was really sad. That was one of the reasons why I loved um, the movie was that they did try to insert some emotional depth for the characters, and so it always gets me. Actually, that movie always gets it. And,
Yeah, I think as
yeah,
soon as I
why?
heard there were no man-eating plants in it, I was out.
That's it. No man-eating plants. We're out.
That show actually debuted in 1976 until 1980, but I think we got it a bit later than you, so we would have been
Wow.
getting repeats. But, yeah, 3 seasons, half-hour show.
And, Jack says Tarzan is a tough genre to make a blockbuster out of. They keep trying. Yes, it's really hard. I mean, it made money back in the day, but audiences have changed, and also it's just changed.
They
And
have to make Tarzan like Rambo, really, to kind of make it he has to be
ooh, I'm liking your idea.
It has to be like it has to be him going up against the evil sort of British colonials of the
Yeah,
1920s and 30s, and
yeah,
maybe teaming up with Zulus or something. I don't know.
yeah, and protecting the forest. Yeah, I like that. I like this idea. Manny Sadie says this was the first time that they didn't use Me Tarzan, You Jane. Yeah. I love those black and white Tarzan movies. They were hilarious and good. And Moonbeam says Grace Highlander 2 years later, and said that his dad loved Tarzan, and
My dad did too, actually.
yeah, my mom loved it. She
Oh,
loved it.
there was that Technicolor series as well. The live action one.
I don't know.
I'm not allowed to sing the tune again, am I? No. But yeah, it
I
was
need.
that.
I don't need to say Lance anymore. I need a buzzer.
You should record your voice saying that like very high pitched as a like a sound effect, like Gary has on his Nerdrotic. He's got all those different sound. Press a button and it should just go Lance. Yeah.
I'm gonna come up with one. Yes, I
And
think.
then we
I
have a
think
little
this is
score
most.
like that goes up on the side of the how many times I get buzz per show. Anyway, I really enjoyed that show. That was out around the same time as the live action Planet of the Apes. So I'm sorry, going down a rabbit
Yeah.
hole.
Well,
Let's save
yeah.
that for.
Well, Tarzan, we can agree, is something that they really need to kind of think about how to, bring it back.
Yeah, Jamalama, that's the one I'm talking about. Tarzan and the Strange Visitors, episode 7 of season 1 is the one with the
Cool.
UFO.
Oh, and Maddie says that was Filmation, and
It
so
was
does
Filmation.
Simply Steve says that as well.
Yeah, I just remember it being one of the big animation people at the time, but
okay, and let's see. Okay. My goodness, the comments in the chat are just wonderful, guys. I won't be able to feature every single comment in there. If you guys,
a lot of love for that animated show. I think a lot of people remember that show. Reading
yes,
through the episode guide makes me. I'm remembering all the different episodes. I'm like, I want to go back and rewatch this. You know,
Joe Lara, yeah, he did something too with that, yeah. He did. I'm sorry, I interrupted. I'm like, all right. So the next one, Revenge of the Nerds.
oh, I love this film.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up. It does not hold up, but it is still funny.
I watched it not that long ago.
Well, there's one
some
or two. Yeah.
Some bits of it hold up. Some
Yeah.
bits of it not so well. But
Yeah.
I saw this as a double bill with Bachelor Party.
Ooh, another fun movie.
Which is a great film from this year. And they were both 18 certificate. And again, Martin, my neighbor, who gets mentioned quite a lot in these streams, I must get him to tune in. Me and him were both very tall. And I think this was like the second or third time that we went, right, we're going to see the 18 movies. And I do remember we got asked what our birth dates were when we bought the tickets. And we had remembered, we specifically memorized our birth date so that we could roll it off the tongue and we would be 18 years old, which was a complete lie. So I had to say I was born in the 1960s, you know. Yeah, I've got a lot of love for this film, and maybe Bachelor Party's coming up later, so I'll
If it was in 1984, of course.
It was in 84, yeah.
And so, Revenge of the Nerds at Adams College, a group of bullied outcasts and misfits resolve to fight back for their peace and self-respect. This was directed by Jeff Canoe and stars Robert Carradine, Anthony Edwards, Timothy Busfield, and Andrew Cassisi. I think that's how it was. And it's a 40.9 million. I'm sorry, yeah, $40.9 million.
Timothy Busfield is a hugely successful television drama series producer now, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
See, I love that. I love when actors,
he did that show 30 something, if you remember 30 something.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I think he was in 30 something, and then from that he went into directing and then producing.
Okay. And that would be the guy with the thick glasses, right? Am I correct?
Yeah. That's who plays
and the greasy part. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays the violin at the end.
Yeah. And I won't say the thing that Moonbeam just said, but yeah, this is the one. Nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just And some red says retro show is Revenge of the Nerds.
Well,
Yes,
it's
and in many ways
certainly
it
got
is.
2 nerds on it. That's
And Jack says Revenge of the Nerds has a great soundtrack. Yes, Burning Down the House, Talking
burning
Heads,
down
and
the
more.
house.
Yep.
Sorry.
And let's see.
Time
The
has
next
come
one
for the
is
nerds.
2010, the
This
year
is a
we
this is
made
a great movie.
contact.
I saw this in the cinema, with the same friend. I think we may well have gone, like, the week after. We were going almost every week in '84.
Oh,
I mean,
that's cool.
that is the year I started going to the cinema on my own in '83.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi was the cause of that.
Well, how old were you then?
I was like a young teenager. So, kind of 13. And but like I said, I was quite tall, and I hung out with Martin, who was older than me and also taller than me.
Mhm.
You should see his son. His son's like about 6'9". And yeah, we both went to see this movie.
Mhm.
I really liked this film. It's got a very young Helen Mirren, Roy Schneider, John Lithgow, and it's so relevant now because you could see this happening now because of the current political tensions. America and Russia do a joint
Mhm.
space mission, but during the mission, things kick off at home, so they're forced to then occupy separate ships while things on Earth resolve themselves. But then they have to band together and put their differences aside in order to succeed in their mission, which may or may not be for the good of all mankind. It's a great science fiction movie directed by Peter Hyams, who also did Capricorn 1.
And this premise really sounds a lot like the new movie that's out right now, the
Oh, the
ISS.
ISS. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that film's not that good, sadly.
Yeah. So, well, let me read the information here. It says a joint USA-Soviet expedition is sent to Jupiter to learn exactly what happened to the Discovery and its HAL 9000 computer. It's directed by Peter Hyams, stars Roy Schneider, John Lithgow, Helen Mirren, and Bob Balaban. Balaban.
I'm sorry, Retro. I'm
Balaban.
afraid I can't do that. That's my HAL 9000 impression. Yeah, it's a great film. I mean, Bob Balaban people will remember more fondly as the guy who runs the dog show in the movie Best in Show.
Mm.
So good. Yeah, it is the sequel to 2001. People are going to hate me for saying this. I thought it was a better film than 2001.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it, so
I like the way Retro distanced herself from me there quickly.
I doubt it very seriously.
Controversial things. Look, I saw 2001 like after
Oh,
Star
heck
Wars.
no.
I saw it after Star Wars, and I was like so bored.
What?
Yeah, because I
I saw it after Star Wars too, and I loved it.
Well, I didn't hate it, but I was like, "What? This is so slow. What's happening? Where are the laser guns? Why are there no stormtroopers?" I was really young, So, but by the time I saw this film, I was a bit more mature, and I'd seen lots of different movies, and it hit me in a very different way.
Yeah, I think that's always allowed. I haven't seen this yet. I'm not even sure. Like I thought I did, but I really can't. I'm not gonna say I did. So
I went back and watched a restored 70mm print of 2001 with my friend Alan, Mark's visual effects supervisor from Space Precinct, and we used to go and see a lot of sci-fi films together, me and Alan, in the 90s.
Mhm.
And I was bored. I liked it in terms of, wow, I can see why this impacted people.
Yeah.
But I'd seen so many other films by then that it was like, yeah, this is good. I can see why it impacted people, but I saw it at the wrong time. I'm the wrong generation,
Yeah. All right. Well, I won't hold that against you.
No.
I'm just going to read this comment really quick. 2010, Jack says 2010, they where they finally reveal why Hal went insane and murdered the crew. He was, or that's spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen 2001. He was ordered to withhold info about the monolith, which contradicts his program to give accurate information. I get it. Um, yes. So we shall get some answers, is what you're saying. Where 2001, it was specifically designed so you don't know and you would guesstimate what was going on, which I'm sure, they didn't like. But let's see. Brad says 2001 That was awesome. Moon landing. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's
incredible.
I'm not saying it's not a great film. It's just my journey of that movie is different from people 10 years older than me, like Retro.
Lance.
Just waiting for that one to land there.
Oh man.
Okay, all right. I'm off again. Bye. On the naughty step.
And Jack says 2001 and 2010 are really different films.
They are and made at a very different time with different, techniques and different style of storytelling as well. So.
And look, Moonbeam is agreeing with you, and I might watch it and say the same thing. Like, guys, you're right.
I watched them together as well at home, and
Oh, did you watch 2001 first and then watch 2010?
No. So yeah, the first time I saw 2001 was on TV. It was given a TV release, totally the wrong place to see it.
Yeah.
After I'd seen Star Wars, and it was on TV not long after Star Wars was out, and I was like, "Oh, another film with spaceships! Right, I'm going to watch this." So at the time, I would have told you that Humanoid, the Italian ripoff of Star Wars, or Star Crash, was better than 2001 because it had laser guns and shooting. But yeah, I was just like, "What's happening?" I didn't understand it. I was really young when I saw it. I was like 6 or something. I just didn't understand what the film was about. Hang on, why are there monkeys? Now where are we? What's this big square thing? What's happening? I just didn't get the movie. So
Yeah.
it's not a film for a 6-year-old,
I think you're right. I think you're right about that. Moonbeam says costuming and cinematography of 2001 was good. Yeah, it was outstanding in my opinion.
And the special effects were absolutely groundbreaking in their day as well.
Groundbreaking. There were just moments. That floating pen effect was very nice, which was practical, and it looks fantastic on screen. And so Red says, when asked of my date of birth, I'm saying 2001.
That's my date.
Yeah.
I wish.
And let's see. The next one is Break-In. You know a lot about this movie, and let me just go through the stats first before we get into your comments about it. A struggling young jazz dancer meets up with 2 break dancers. Together, they become the sensation of the street crowds. Director Joel Silberg stars Lucinda Dickey, Adolfo Quinones, Michael Chambers, Ben Loki, and it grossed $38.68 million, which was a lot of money for the guys over at Global Golan and Globus.
Yeah,
they were just loving Canon Films. They were just loving everything.
It was one of the accidental big hits of that year.
Yeah.
I have got the final soundtrack for it right here.
Hold on, let's put you on solo.
Let me turn it so people can see the back. There's all the breaking action. I think Adolfo, the chap in the center with the hat, I think he just passed away.
Well, let's make sure before we.
No, he did. He passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
Okay.
sadly. Still quite young, I think early 60s. And I've picked out a couple of others from 84 while I grab that, so I'll hold them up as and when.
Mm-hmm.
Small screen now. I can say. There we go. I don't like being big screen on my own.
Movie 87 says the films when I was born were Rocky and Logan's Run.
76, 77.
And I was saying 2000, but I did change it. and Quinones. Yeah, Quinones, is that it? Okay.
Quinones, yeah.
Quinones. Yeah.
We caught up.
Cool. Caught up. Any more things you want to say about Breaking? I know you did like a special.
Not really. I mean, if I was going to talk about a film from this year that was great, that was about breakdancing, it would be Beat Street. So
right, which is coming up. All right. Well, then now we go to my favorite movie of all time. I mean,
I spoke to somebody connected with this film just the other day.
Don't say it.
Can't say anymore.
Yeah.
Great thrill that was, though.
We caught it live on the other show last weekend.
Oh yeah,
last Friday. So everyone, if you want to know who it is,
if you want to know,
head over to that.
Go back and watch Retro's 9-hour stream. We're not going to tell you when it comes up, but
but it's hilariously good.
I completely lost my.
It was fantastic. Yeah. And so let's read this up. Terminator, a human soldier is sent back from 2029 to 1984 to stop an almost indestructible cyborg killing machine sent from the same year, which has been programmed to execute a young woman whose unborn son is the key to humanity's future salvation.
This was probably was my favorite film of the year, actually. Because I think it's a toss up between this and Ghostbusters. I can't remember which of the two I've rewatched the most, but the one thing that annoyed me about Terminator when it came out was there was no soundtrack for it. You couldn't buy the soundtrack on vinyl. I mean, I don't know if it was released in America, but it wasn't. I don't think it was, because I don't think they expected the film to be such a big hit. And there's music in the film, but there isn't like a wall-to-wall score. But you can get the soundtrack for it now. It was released subsequently, and I always love that dum 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 dum, and I really wanted it on vinyl. You can get it. But man, I mean, just somebody was asking me what my favorite scene was from this movie just the other day in chat, I think it was. And I said, well, I've got three, but number one is the whole police station sequence. Just you've never seen anything like that in a movie.
Oh yeah, great stuff.
And the other two are both in the future. The scene with the dogs, where the Terminator with a big cannon, somebody comes out, and then you got that shot of him moving forward, and you just got the glowing eyes. That's amazing.
Yeah, perfect.
And then the other scene set in the future with the hunter killers, really loved it. And also, Retro and I fixed the franchise. So if you want to,
we fixed the franchise.
I pitched you a Terminator 3, which would have
amazing.
Neatly made the trilogy. I didn't mention that to certain parties the other day. I decided to try and
no, don't do it. Don't do it.
But,
don't do it. And just going over the main stats here. Director James Cameron.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing work in this. Stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, Michael Biehn, Paul Winfield. He's absolutely, every performance was just amazing. Everyone just killed it, I think. Let's see what.
Written by Gail Ann Hurd and Jim Cameron, and produced by Gail Ann Hurd.
Yes, come with me if you want to live.
Give credit to, and probably doesn't get enough credit.
Yes.
Yes.
And Come With Me if You Wanna Live.
Live.
And Moonbeam says
Get out. Sorry.
Terminator and C2 at the cinema. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And yeah, the other one I didn't bother going to see. I was like, what is this?
I
Uh,
saw the third one, and that was it for me. I've never seen any of the other Terminator movies at the cinema, I don't think. And maybe I saw one, but,
yeah,
yeah,
I was done after the second one.
I tuned out
We
after.
just was like, "What is this?" Right?
Yeah.
It's not that's not, they saved humanity, what are you talking about? Uh, Shamalama says it was only 2029 they were sent back from, in Terminator. Yikes, we don't have much time. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but we're living in the alternate,
Alternate timeline.
universe, yeah, timeline.
Multiverse.
Yes, and,
Possibly.
Maddie Sadie says, "As everyone knows, James Cameron's first choice for the Terminator was O.J. Simpson, but he didn't think that people would buy him as a mass murderer." And, um, uh, yes, Moonbeam says 2029 is only 5 years away, and,
Yeah.
Simply Steve says Bill Paxton was one of the 3 punk guys in the Terminator, that the
Yeah.
Terminator stole clothes from.
That was the first time he'd worked with, Cameron in an acting capacity, but they worked together with Roger Corman.
Mhm.
Bill Paxton was a painter and decorator on the sets, and that's where he met Jim Cameron.
On Battle Beyond the Stars,
It was on Battle Beyond the
1980.
Stars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
released in
on Battle Beyond the
1980.
Stars and on Galaxy of Terror, I think they both
Mhm,
worked on.
mhm.
Yeah,
And
that's
Kital Lal, well, that was when they met. Kital Lal says, "Hi, Retro Nerd Girl, good morning." Hello, how are you?
no. Ah,
Uh,
wow. Very, very cool name.
and, Jack says, "Best sequence in the future is the future underground shootout with the Terminators and his glowing eyes as he shoots at that gun." Yeah,
That's my second favorite sequence,
that's a
yeah.
great scene, yeah.
Do really love that
Um
sequence.
And Semprat says that she got her SAG card in 1984. Awesome. Um, and Moonbeam says, I think it was Retro, Lance, and Chat worked together on a brainstorm to fix the end of the last Terminator films. Yes, we did.
Yeah,
And
well,
there's still one more episode that I'm working on, but it might be for a while.
yeah.
Um, but Lance did a bang up job of his treatment. It was really wonderful.
That was the treatment that I wrote after Terminator 2. I had it
Oh,
for ages,
wow.
and I was like, "How can I pitch this?" It was just the logical step was the third one's gotta all be set in the future, and it's gotta
Mhm.
end with people going back. We don't wanna see another time travel, them coming back to Earth again, because that's the only story that you haven't told. Is we've seen it in 5 minutes, but let's see the attack on Skynet. Let's see how it was achieved. Let's see how you defeated them. How did that happen? What tactics did you use? And that's how I came up with the idea for the plot, which was I thought it was just pretty obvious, really. So,
Oh,
yeah, but hey,
and Stuntrat was saying that Debbie Evans, was already established when I started. She
wow,
doubled for Linda
that's
Harris.
right, she did. Yeah, she talked about that on my channel. That's under industry interviews. Anyone who wants to check that out. She's an amazing guest, and she's going to come back actually. So she's got 400 credits. We can only cover about 100 of them.
And Barry Bando Sandwich Worthington is here. How are you? Says, I want your spiders, your e-shooter, and your Wi-Fi password.
Terminator 2024.
Oh, man.
Yeah, your e-scooter. Give me your e-scooter. Imagine the chase with 2 e-scooters, or like an electric bike and an e-scooter. That would be a good parody actually for someone to film that.
And Bill Paxton from Terminator to Titanic. Let's make it. Who will we get to play Bill Paxton?
Uh,
I don't think there's anyone who could play him, but
Austin Butler could probably do a good job of
maybe,
got a
yeah.
similar vibe, but maybe he's a bit too leading man
Yeah,
for.
I think he's too. I don't know. I'm looking for somebody with a different body type.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
But he could transform himself too, though. He's one of those guys that does a lot of that will change their appearance for a role. And
Okay.
look, guys, we've got The Bachelor Party, which is one of my favorite guilty pleasures. A soon-to-be married man's friend throws him the ultimate bachelor party. Director Neil Israel stars Tom Hanks, Tawny Kitaen, Adrian Zemed, and George Grizzard.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I love this movie.
Um,
I got the vinyl here.
okay.
And if we flip it around, it's all tracks. You've got like Oingo Boingo and you know, those bands. If I ever interviewed Tom Hanks, I would definitely want to talk to him about this film, because one of the reasons this film is really good is they just look like they're having such a fun time. You really do believe this is a group of real best friends, and that's what sells the film for me. Obviously, some of the jokes are probably a bit risque now for
Yeah,
people.
they're a little spicy.
Yeah. There we go.
And
Yeah.
Tawny Kitaen, she was the fiance, which was she played. I was just okay. So the thing about this movie is that she was so good in this,
She
and I was
was.
like,
She was.
why didn't she do more movies?
Notorious. Well, I can tell you why, but I mean,
Is it suitable for? Is it suitable?
The PG version is
Okay.
she had some issues and she was very difficult to work with, which is tragic because
Okay.
she was really good. And actually, funnily enough, when I was researching, doing a stream on this,
Okay.
I did not realize that she'd passed away.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
she did.
yeah, and
That broke my
you
heart.
know, everybody. Yeah, I was very upset. Everybody in the UK always used to just pronounce her name Tawny Kitten. We always called her
Okay.
Tawny Kitten, and she was famous for a White Snake video, and she was on a White Snake
Yes,
cover.
videos. Yeah.
I think she
I mean,
dated
I knew of her
that.
before. Well, I knew of her before that, but yeah, that really put her on the map as
I think if
a
she hadn't have gone into the rock and roll world and dated people from that and had just focused on acting, I think she could have had a really good acting career. But
well, yeah.
it's
I mean,
tough.
I don't.
Tough. It's a
Yeah,
tough industry. It's a tough
yeah.
industry.
If she had concentrated on acting, it would have been. She had talent, raw talent. And
The
Jack is gonna leave us right now. Got to roll.
Oh,
Jason
okay.
night off. Have
Pleasure,
a
Jack.
great night,
Pleasure.
Jack. Thank you so much for participating and so wonderfully tonight in our conversations. It's just been so much fun. You have a good one and have a good weekend. And I hope to see you soon. Hope to see you tomorrow night for the watch party if you can make it. And uh, William Blake Hall says, wasn't Kitaen in the Planet of the Imperial Throne in 1984?
No, I don't
I
think so.
don't I don't think
No,
so.
because that was the girl from Electric Dreams played Princess
Oh,
Uru,
yeah,
and
Virginia Madsen.
and then
Virginia Madsen,
Sean Young played
yeah,
Charney. There weren't any other, and Molly Rin played the other June fighter who had her role completely cut to
yeah,
ribbons. There weren't
yeah.
any other there weren't any other roles in the film of Tawny's age.
And Simply Steve says Tawny starred in The Perils, but it was an NC-17 type movie, yeah. The Perils of Gwendolyn. Okay, yeah, never heard of this movie.
She was in Hercules, the Maze of the Minotaur with Kevin Sorbo, if you remember that.
Yes, she was in that show. It started out as a mini-series, and then it turned out to be
Like a TV.
yeah, TV show, and she was like, I think they killed off her character, but they kept bringing her back for stuff. So
Right.
she was so beautiful, and like I said, a really great actress.
Yeah.
For
Tragic, man.
yeah.
It makes me sad,
Now the next movie is Red Dawn. Uh,
Ah.
Yes, it's the dawn of World War III in the West Mountains of America. A group of teenagers band together to defend their town and their country from invading Soviet forces. This is directed by John Milius. Stars Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Leah Thompson, and Charlie Sheen. It grossed
Wolverines!
it grossed $38.38 million domestically. And yeah, it's one of those movies that everybody really loves. It was really well done and highly dramatic. Highly
So,
dramatic.
here you go.
So much tension in that.
This at the time was only available in the UK on import, and it went for something like I think it went for about £80, which would have been about $120 US back then. And I wanted it so badly, and then for some unknown reason, this shop, I think they just hadn't sold it. They dropped it to £20, and I just happened to come in the day that they dropped it to £20, and I was able to grab it there and then. And it was the only copy that they ever had at that store.
Wow, you
And
got lucky.
that store was called 58 Dean Street Records, and it was owned by two twin brothers, and it sold nothing but movie soundtracks. And here is an original bag from that store, which no longer exists. And I found this bag just a few months ago, and I was about to throw it out, and I was like, oh my God, that's a 58 Dean Street Records bag. You know, probably no one's got one of these. So I just thought, I don't know, I'm gotta keep that. Maybe use it as a prop in a movie one day or something. So yeah, there you go. Bit of nostalgia for you there.
Cool, cool. And Whitley Call says, to this day, I recall Mr. Teasdale's awesome lesson about Genghis Khan.
Yeah. It's I remember the film so well.
And Gary Banjo's Sandwich Worthington says, bag for life.
Yeah. Oh, Gary, the man with the best name on YouTube.
And Simply Steve says they remake and they change the invading forces from Russian to Islamics.
It was supposed to be China, and then China was doing all the post production on the movie. So the movie actually got shut down because of that, because China withdrew their funding and their tax break and all that, and they had to re-CGI all the vehicles and everything to make it this kind of fictional North Korean conglomerate. Something that film's a mess. The remake's a mess. You can tell that they have enough with to finish it. It's a mess.
I didn't even bother watching that one. I just left,
It's
left it.
It's no good.
And Moonbeam says Red Dawn has an awesome Metascore. And what is the Metascore? 5 point, is it 53? And Stunt Brett says William is talking to William, but says love Patrick worked with his brother Don on the film Shy People in with his brother Don on the film. I guess you meant 1987. Yeah. Oh yes, there she goes. Yes, 1987. There we go. And Jim
I think he's still around. Don Swayze. I think he's still going, isn't he?
I'm not sure. And Gemma Lama says it's great. It's a great logo on the bag. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he is still going. Do you know what? I should try and get him on for an interview, shouldn't I? He'd be a great guest.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, so I never saw this one, but let me read it out to you guys. Give me 1 second.
I got this as well.
Okay, wait. Don't put it down for a second.
Yeah, no problem. Did tell you I got more albums for this year in the whole decade than any other year, because there were so many great soundtracks in '84.
Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna read off. Let me read off this thing really quickly. Lance, take a look at the private chat really quickly. And City Heat is the name of the movie. I've never heard of this movie, but this is
Oh, you'd like this film. You'd like this film for sure.
okay, great. Slick private investigator Mike Murphy, Burt Reynolds, and a tough police lieutenant Spear, Clint Eastwood, once partners, now bitter enemies, reluctantly team up to investigate a murder. This is directed by Richard Benjamin, stars Clint Eastwood, Burt Reynolds, Jane Alexander, and Madeline Kahn. This sounds really great. It grossed $38.35 million. Now, you've seen this.
I saw it twice at the cinema. I liked it so much. I went back to see it again. I seem to recall in the UK that this and the Cotton Club, which I also have the vinyl album for somewhere, were out in the same week. And a bit of a naughty story. I loved the Cotton Club so much. It was the first time I ever bunked off high school to go and see it again in the afternoon. I can't remember how I got out of a class because it was quite difficult to do that back then. But I think I told my teacher I had to leave early that day because of something to do with my parents. They didn't even bother to check, and I just went straight into town and watched the Cotton Club again.
Oh, wow.
But City Heat was a lot of fun, and I thought quite an unfairly. The critics kind of savaged it, and I don't know why, because it's if I remember right, I think the DOP on it is Don McLean. I'll need to check that. Who shot Cannonball Run 2?
Okay.
I heard it was a really happy set. Everybody had a really good time, which is often the case on a Burt Reynolds movie set. And that the two stars had really good chemistry because it's basically a throwback to sort of the Gumshoe, private eye detectives.
Yeah, I've never seen these two work together, which I'm like, oh, this should be good, and it's a comedy action movie. So.
Yeah, there's a great shootout in a garage where, Clint's got his big gun, and suddenly Burt produces a bigger gun, and then that gun runs out of ammo, and then Clint produces like a backup pistol that's like bigger than.
Oh gosh, yes. Okay, no.
And that goes on. That goes on and on. There's about 6 different guns on each side that are produced. It's
I'm gonna love it.
It's a lot of fun. It's Smokey and the Bandit meets Dirty Harry, as Steve says in the chat.
Okay, well, let's catch up with the chat. And Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington says that you are an album master, Lance. We salute you, and this is true. You have.
I nearly sold these a couple of years ago. I nearly sold the whole lot. I'm so glad.
Yeah, you're definitely. You have an impressive collection. And Simply Steve says Bandit meets Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
And and Jamalama, we're gonna lose him. So Jamalama, have a great evening. Thank you for joining us today. You're fantastic. Always love having you in the chat.
See you, buddy.
Yeah. And this is one of the this is on my list. I want to see this.
Yeah, you should. It's fun. It's a fun film. I'm hoping to get Nick McLean, who was the DOP of the Goonies. Now, he was actually scheduled to be one of my early guests on industry interviews. I'll just he did shoot it, Nick McLean, and directed by Richard Benjamin, but Nick McLean was the director of photography. but he lives in a really bad internet black spot.
Okay.
And when we try to do the testing with StreamYard, I can't hear him. He sounds like a Dalek. So we're trying to work on that, but I'm hoping to get him on at some point. So
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
Now, this is a movie that I absolutely love. I saw this in the theater with my mom, and it is one of the sweetest, comedies. It's definitely the one where everybody's like bickering at each other and then they come together. It's really great. It's an old style of comedy, but it's also it works with these two actors. Steve Martin is definitely, I would say, a national treasure, and Lily Tomlin is underrated um, talent. She's just incredible. So this is a movie I absolutely love. All of me, a dying millionaire has her soul transferred into a younger, willing woman. However, something goes wrong, and she finds herself in her lawyer's body together with the lawyer. And so this is really quite an interesting thing because Steve Martin is killing it in this because he's doing body language for a woman and he's doing, his own, and it's the conflict between the two is just incredible. There's lots of physical humor, and there is an old school feel to it, and there is quite a bit of um, charm to it as well. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah, I saw it on video. I believe actually in this year it had a short release in the UK. It did quite well.
Mhm.
I think my parents went to see it, and I remember them talking about it and saying it was really funny.
Oh, cool.
Uh, and yeah, I did. I rented it. I remember Steve Martin's performance. It has Victoria Tennant in it, who I'm sorry, but she's a dreadful actress.
Oh, wow.
Just not a good actress in anything. And
Wow.
I'm being really harsh, but yeah, I mean, she's just anyway. So I don't want to be mean, but and this is the film that they met on and got married and were together until 1994.
Who did she marry?
She married Steve Martin.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Okay, interesting.
I've seen her in 4 films, and she's exactly the same in all 4 of them.
Mhm. Well, I
Uh,
think she was perfect in this because she played like a bad, like a mean person. So she did a great job at that, in my opinion, for what was needed in this film. I never saw any problem with her, but it, I guess if you're more familiar with the actress, I have this is probably the limit. This is the only thing I've seen her in.
Thanks for that private chat note, by the way. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And William Blake says,
Mortified.
oh, don't worry. William Blake says the LA story was sort of Steve Martin's Valentine
And
to Tennant.
I really
Oh,
like that.
really?
I really like that movie. There's a lot about it that's really good, and it's very quirky. It's the one where he ends up talking to a road sign.
Okay, I never saw that movie.
I think you'd like it, but again, she's the weak link in that film. And
Okay.
Richard E. Grant did a brilliant biography called With Nails, and he was in that film, and he talks about working on that movie, and he's very transparent, and he talked about the film and what he thought was good about it, and he said the exact same thing as me, that the chemistry between them on screen just didn't serve the film's purpose.
Interesting. And they
Yeah.
were married? Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, they were clearly in love, and you know, but you need an actress who can command the presence, up against their contemporaries to hold a story like that. You
Okay.
need a heavy hitter. You need, your Glenn Close or your Meryl Streep.
Okay.
You need a Lily Tomlin is a fantastic actress.
Oh, she's incredible.
She's one of the best in the world.
Oh, yeah. She's incredible. And, Stumpret says, "I doubled for, Victoria Tennant in LA Story with Steve Martin when they were married." And also,
I will say I've never heard any nasty stories about her. I've never heard she's not pleasant to work with or anything like that.
okay.
I probably should keep my opinions to myself about people's abilities, but she is somebody I
That is
would.
your opinion. I don't I mean, I don't know enough about it to comment either way, but from
I'm
just
a,
this
I'm a,
movie, I think she's just
I'm
fine in
critical.
this movie.
I'm
But Sunbret says that I got to double sweet Lily Tomlin on Beverly Hillbillies in 1993. She played Miss Hathaway, LOL. And yeah, and I always hear how nice Lily Tomlin is.
Yeah, I've heard lots of pleasant things about Lily Tomlin. Yeah.
Yes. And William Blake Hall says, uh, Victoria Tennant is not quite Victoria landlady. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what Victoria landlady means, so I'm not really sure if I'm saying that.
And no one. All right, you guys are just now.
Let's move on. I showed you guys the City Heat album, right? Did you look at that?
All right, let's open up. Let's open up.
Yeah,
There
so
you
that's the City Heat album, and it's mostly an instrumental
go. Ooh.
soundtrack, and the soundtrack was very of that era, so it's got that whole
Mhm.
kind of Janis Joplin sort of vibe.
Oh, really?
Same with the Cotton Club soundtrack. Yeah. Funny to think that I haven't played most of these in over 20 years.
hmm
Crazy to think that, because the last
And
time I owned a record player was probably the early 90s.
yeah, it's getting your hands on some of these older, equipment pieces. Like I'm trying to get my hands on something to play video VHS tapes because I have
Oh,
a
I've
little
still got a
connection.
VHS player. I kept mine.
Is it connected to your television or?
Well, no, it's not at the moment. The big problem is finding a TV that's still got a SCART socket in the back, because all the modern ones don't have it now.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like connecting everything.
Yeah.
Um, and let's see.
I need to watch all of Me again, so thanks for
Oh
the
yeah,
reminder.
yes. It's really good. I mean, if you can bear to,
Stick that on the list. I'm sure
yeah.
I'll cope with Tennant's role.
To me, I feel like everything works perfectly in there. I wasn't distracted by anybody, but Steve and Lily just wow they killed it on this, and the end it ends so beautifully and sweet, and it has a nice charming ending, which it makes you. When we walked out of the theater, my mom took me to see this, as I said before. We walked out of the theater and we were not only we were singing the main song and we were really really happy. It's really great. um and that was a song that was introduced to a younger generation at that time, an older song that was introduced to the younger
Would
generation.
you care to do a quick rendition of your version of that song now?
No. Now we have Places in the Heart, which is a movie I remember hearing so much about, but I did not partake in the watching of this. It says here in Central Texas in the 1930s, a widow with two small children tries to save her small 40-acre farm with the help of a blind boarder and an inherent black handyman. And the director is Robert Benton, stars Sally Field, Lindsay Carouse, Ed Harris, and Amy Madigan.
Madigan, yeah.
So, and it grossed $34.9 million. Any thoughts on this? Have you seen this?
I saw it. I rented it. I seem to recall it was, it was kind of okay. It felt like it was a movie that was trying to be an Oscar, sort of an Oscar contender. It had that, had that kind of vibe. I love Sally Field. She's an amazing actress. I just saw her on stage in London a couple of years ago, and she was absolutely phenomenal in
Oh, wow.
all of our sons, with Bill Pullman playing her husband. What a combo on stage. I
Wow.
mean, she was incredible. And yeah, I wrote her a letter actually after seeing her in that. I dropped her a letter off at the stage door, just said how fantastic I thought she was. Because that's the only time you definitely know they're going to get to read it, you know. But I can't remember much about this film other than I thought it was fine. I think there was a film that Amy Madigan did around the same time as this film that's very, very similar, where she it's something to do with fishermen and she ends up on a boat, and she's seeing one of the people, and there's some racism involved, and different parties are pushing back and forth over trading territories or something. I can't remember the name of that movie, but I felt that both films were very, very similar, but it's just nothing about it that's particularly memorable. But listen, maybe I'll go back and watch it now and go, wow, this is amazing. I didn't appreciate how good it was.
Yeah, because I remember Oscar time, and it was just they couldn't stop talking about it. I remember that. Yeah.
It was one of those films that felt very packaged for awards season, a bit too much.
Yeah,
with a bow and a shiny things on top, and please give us awards. This is an award film. Please give us awards. I'm sure it was marketed that way, but I wasn't so impressed. But this is in the era when I was looking for things like Top Gun, So
yeah. Well, I definitely want to see this. It's got a very nice rating, a comfortable little rating on IMDb. It's got a decent Metascore. So yeah, this is.
Danny Glover's in it as well. Danny Glover must play the Black Candyman in it, I think.
Yes, probably.
And John Malkovich is in it as well.
Oh yes, I do remember seeing him for ads in it. So yeah, very interesting. I would like to take a look at it one day.
So Sally Field won Best Oscar for that film.
There we go. There we go.
So I probably should go back and look at it. And it got 7 nominations. Got Best Screenplay as well.
Yeah. Oh wow, you guys have left me some comments. And Wembley Call says Blazes has a stacked cast. Danny Glover, John Malkovich mentions. And this is connected. Sunbrat says Ed Harris and Amy Madigan were married for years.
I believe they're I saw them on stage together only a few years ago, and I believe they're still married, and they were in a really, really heavy play, and we went to see it like December 23rd. And I remember on the bow, the cast came out with Santa hats on to kind of cheer the audience up because the play was just very heavy and depressing. and Ed Harris kind of laughed. That was fun. Merry Christmas, like this, which cracked everybody up. It was quite fun to see him drop his professional veneer, but they acted to get off against each other in it, and they were fantastic. It was they're still married, so that says a lot, doesn't it?
That's good. And Simply Steve says this was when Ed Harris had hair. And yeah, it says they're still married. That's awesome. Yeah. And okay, so let's go to the next one. The Killing Fields.
Great film. Great film.
A journalist is trapped in Cambodia during Tyrant Pol Pot's bloody Year Zero cleansing campaign, which claimed the lives of 2 million undesirable civilians. Wow, that's horrible. Directed by Roland Jaffe, stars Sam Waterston, Hang S. Noor, and John Malkovich, Julian Sands. Julian Sands.
Yeah, really nice story about this, and you can probably see the clip on YouTube. Is that Hang S. Noor was nominated? In fact, I think he won. I'm just going to check. Yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor. The film was nominated for about 8 awards, and it won Best Cinematography and Best Editing. Definitely deserved. And Hang Noor was playing a character called, I think it's Dith Pran, who basically was the assistant to Sam Waterson's character. He was like the local, and the story was largely about how, very similar to what happened in the Middle East, when Afghanistan fell. You know, Sam Waterson wanted to take Dith Pran with him and his wife
Mhm.
when he left Cambodia, and he wasn't able to. And Dith Pran ended up in a Cambodian prison camp, which, as you can imagine, not a nice place,
Mhm.
um, run by the Viet Cong, and he managed to escape. And so when Hang Noor won his Oscar,
Mhm.
he called the real Dith Pran up onto the stage with him, and you could tell that the Oscars were completely unprepared for this.
Mhm.
He obviously hadn't discussed it with them, and quite rightly so. And he said, "I cannot take this award without calling the real hero to the stage. I have to share it with him," and that's what he did. And I thought, and he called not only Dith Pran up to the stage, but his wife as well.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
I thought that was just pure class. And Dith Pran was a little bit embarrassed, and he didn't really know what to say. And I don't think his English was too great, but it's a beautiful moment. It's sad because Hang Noor was murdered sometime later by
Oh, really?
an extremist. I think connected to the history of this.
That's
Yeah,
awful.
it's a heavy movie. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's a true story. It's very moving, and if you want to see the cost of the expansion of the Vietnam War into Cambodia, this is your film. But it's not a date movie. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And Steve, simply Steve says, "Good for him having. I've done the same thing, given credit where it was due.
yeah,
Bringing him on stage. Yeah,
yeah.
it was a good call for him. Um, yeah. Okay. So,
He was a
huh,
fine actor, Hang Noor. He really was a great actor. He's in a really good Vietnam movie called The Iron Triangle, and
mm,
he's got a great role in that.
okay. Oh, this one. Friday the 13th, the final chapter in 1984. Boy, they were wrong. After being announced dead and taken to a morgue, Jason Voorhees spontaneously revives, escapes from the hospital, and stalks a group of friends renting a house in the countryside near Crystal Lake. It's
I have
directed by David. It's directed by Joseph Zito. Stars Enric Anderson, Eric Anderson, Julie Aronson,
Aronson.
Better, Peter Barton, Kimberly Beck.
Those four big A-list actors that we all know. I have not seen this, but I do know that it's directed by the person who directed Chuck Norris's Invasion USA. So this is a
Yeah.
good time for me to dash to the bathroom.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't have any input on this one because I think yeah I'm not a horror fan and so but if anybody has anything to say either now or later on in the comments, go do so. If this might be somebody's favorite movie, but we were already on the final chapter in 1984. Wow. Now the next one is one of my favorite movies. It's Conan the Destroyer, 1984. Conan leads a ragtag group of adventurers on a quest for a princess. It's directed by Richard Fleischer, stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Grace Jones, Olivia Abdovo, uh, uh, Diabo, with Wilt Chamberlain. And I absolutely do love this movie. It's a lot of fun. And I don't know. I mean, there's so much to say about this. It's the sequel to Conan the Barbarian that
Mm.
was done in 1982. For some people, this is their favorite one of the two. These two have completely different styles or flavors in it. This is way more comedic, way more for children, whereas the original one was sort of a love letter to the original fans that read the books, where it was like very graphic and absolutely never apologized for being that kind of movie. But this one is a total about face and is definitely a family film, and a lot of comedy in it as well, a lot more comedy. Um, what is your take on this? Did you see this?
I did see it. I saw it at the cinema. I remember agonising in Tower Records over whether to buy the soundtrack to this, which was not widely available in the UK, or the soundtrack to Krull, and Krull was the one I purchased. Um, yeah, the thing that really made Conan a great film, The Barbarian, was the brutality of it. The kind of, this is, this is what it would really be like if you were living in this world of
Hyborian age.
Hyboria.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then it kind of, it was a bit like, this is the difference between Mad Max 2. This is what it's really like if you're going to be living in a post-apocalyptic world, and Mad Max 3, which is, Indiana Jones comedy gags, and no one really gets killed. Maybe I think 2 people die in that movie, whereas 200 people die in. So yeah, I the film, I like the film, but it's got a lot of issues, not least of which is the dumbing down, which is the thing I had the biggest problem with. The
Hmm.
second thing I had a problem with, and it shows, is they couldn't decide what to do with the design of the monster at the end of the movie, and it ended up looking like this really strange mutant walrus creature. And actually, I had a making of Conan the Destroyer magazine, and it was designed by Carlo Rambaldi, who did the Dune worms for the Dune film in '84.
Hmm.
And his time on Dune went over. He was supposed to do both films, so he hardly had any time to design the monster on Conan the Destroyer, and it was basically really rushed.
Hmm.
And I felt that it showed, and it's not his best work. And we already saw a fantastic walrus in one of the Jason. No, not Jason the Argonauts. That was in, you know, the one I mean. You did a special watch party on it. Sinbad and the Eye of the
Eye of the
Tiger.
Tiger. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's got the big walrus in it. The big walrus in that was more fun than the strange mutant walrus elephant thing that you've got at the end of this. And also, the film had another issue, which was Olivia Dabo not, she
All right,
kind of
well, let's move
not.
on.
Yeah,
So now,
I still like it, by the way.
yeah.
It was okay for me. I just wanted it to be better. Just wanted it to. I
Yeah.
thought it could have been better.
Now, my thoughts, I'm torn because my mom took me to see this because we, of course, love the first Conan movie, but she really, really loved this one even more. And we talked about it recently, and she's like, "Yeah, I did like the Conan Destroyer more." And I think that is because the palette is easier it's easier on the palette, right? I mean, i- if you when you look at the first Conan movie, there are parts of it that's really, really downright horrifying.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty full on. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
there's
they're
stuff I
talking
don't want to
about,
mention.
yeah, there are moments where you could hurl while
Yeah,
watching that
yeah.
movie. And even though I see moments of like the masterpiece, the thought behind a lot of the things that were going on, especially based on the books, based on the Hyborian age and all that stuff, it's still um it was still a little bit off-putting to a lot of people when it came to the violence and the and that kind of stuff. But this movie is definitely a family film, for sure. They made this for family consumption. And I think they thought that in this way, they were going to get both audiences, but I think it was too severe. That
Mm.
they went too kiddie in many ways. But anyway, I still enjoy this incredibly. I think it's a lot of fun.
I think
That's the purpose of this.
Grace Jones is the redeeming thing for me, and
She's
she's
hilarious.
fantastic in it. And there was talk. I remember there was talk of her getting a spin-off.
Oh, yeah? I
Yeah,
did
as
not know that 'cause
yeah,
she yeah, she would I would have watched that.
there was rumors of that.
Yeah, I would have watched the heck out of that.
That would have been a great. I mean, that would have been a great movie.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
she could have carried it. You know, because she was perfectly her acting ability wasn't brilliant, but
No.
she was great for this character, and she had the
Oh,
range to do this character and take the character further, I think. And
yeah.
I think she could have held her own. She could have done 2 or 3 movies as that character, you know. And
Yes.
I think people would have flocked to see it as well. I think it could have been good, but hey
Well,
ho.
let me go to the comments really quick. Stunt Brat says, "Retro, I've never seen Friday the 13th series or the Nightmare series, even when Freddy popped out of my body. So I suppose you were actually in that movie. Yeah, it's really uh, one of those things that never really caught on, in my opinion, but you know, it kept the franchise going. Um, and we got another one from Stunt Brad. She says, simply Steve, I visited with Grace Jones for a while on the Total Recall set in Mexico City, where she stopped by to say hi.
There's gotta be
And
more to that story.
you
Almost
think
certainly.
so?
Oh god.
Um, and Stunt Brad says, my 12-year-old girl was with me. Grace loved her fluorescent nail polish, and not that common back then. Yes, fluorescent wasn't that common. It really took off like more towards like 89 where you got some really cool colors. And
Not my area of, expertise,
Banjo, Gary Banjo Worthington. Oh, sorry, Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington says that Grace Jones is a strong black female we like. Oh, okay, that's cool. I thought I was the strong black female that you liked. I'm jealous now. Just kidding. and oh yeah, and so Stumprat says Grace said that she did not drink. And Sunbread said she was in great shape. Yes, she was. She
yeah,
really did look like a warrior.
she was ripped
That
when she did this.
yeah, she's looked like a little piece of leather well put together. They
And I
call
mean,
it.
she's still in pretty good shape now, and she's 75.
She looks fantastic
Yeah.
for her age. So I'm just like, wow, you're incredible. And I think that's because I think I don't know. She keeps busy and stuff like that. And Moonbeam agrees. She was awesome in the 80s. Um, and Moonbeam says, Retro Nerd Girl is awesome too. You're so great. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. And oh look, Gary says you're a web goddess, Retro Nerd Girl. Oh my
I am
goodness, you guys are super, super kind to me.
Whereas
Thank
I am
you.
a mere web minion.
You aren't.
I'm a web minion.
Yeah. No, you're a retro nerd guy.
Retro nerd guy. Retro nerd guy. So it sounds like I've got my own spin-off, from the
Yeah,
retro nerd.
it's almost like, the like somebody was just saying, and William says, Rich MRNG is Madam. Oh my goodness, you guys are you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. I, I'm speechless. You guys are too much. Now, okay, I'm going to make this the last one. We've been talking for 3 hours, and I think
Oh,
this is about good enough time before we get totally worn out. And
such a
so,
good soundtrack, and I've got it right here.
okay, well, before you show us the soundtrack, I'm just going to read off. Duke's son leads desert warriors against the Galactic Empire. Emperor and his father's evil nemesis to free desert world from the Emperor's Road. The director is David Lynch. Stars Kyle MacLachlan, Virginia Madsen, Francesca Annis, and Leonardo Cimino. And yeah, just one of my favorite movies. It was a big flop, but it was. It's also highly regarded and by many of the fans. And of course, I gave it a 9, as you could see. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time because I love this stuff.
I really like it, and I just I know he doesn't like talking about it, but Mr. Lynch, seriously, go back into the film, cut it the way you want. Somebody will release it, 3 hour, whatever, however. I know he wanted to do 2 movies, and I think if the De Laurentiis family who backed the film know now what they did, or knew then what they know now about
Mhm,
how actually sequels can work if you shoot them back to back and plan it properly. They
mhm.
may well have gone for that, and who's to say whether that would have worked or not? It's difficult, but it's got a lot of great things going for it. I think Carl MacLachlan is perfectly
Oh,
fine in the lead. He's great, but
oh, yes.
I think maybe they should have gone with a bigger star in that role, just purely a financial decision.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure who I would have cast.
I don't
Who?
think, like, 'cause the big names are all the Brat Pack, people,
Yeah, none of
and
them would have. Your
mhm.
Emilio or your Charlie Sheen or any of those guys.
I mean,
Rob
Charlie
Lowe,
Sheen has the look, and he probably could have pulled it off. He's not a bad actor. It's just, um,
Patrick Swayze, maybe.
he would be too old at this point because he was already in his 30s.
Well, he just did Red Dawn, same
I
year.
know, he's pushing it.
I
He's
know,
pushing
playing the older
it.
brother in. I mean, yeah, I know he's supposed to be 17, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But, yeah, he was already a grown man when he was playing a teenager, um, but I think that he looked so good and so young for a long time, um,
yeah.
and,
Well,
let's
this is
see.
one of my favorite soundtracks of all
Okay,
time.
let's get a full view of everything.
Um, and I can remember all the tracks. And as much as I loved the new June movie, I can't remember a single track of music from that film because it's so combined with the sound design.
Yes.
And I know that was the intention, and that's fine. But I love traditional scores, and the score for this is just an amazing score. It's really good, um, and I like the fact that Lynch really kind of deliberately went for a very different aesthetic look from Star Wars, and just made it put his own stamp on it. And one of the things I love about the film is the production design, the look of the
Oh,
costumes, the different look of the worlds, the way they achieved
absolutely.
that.
Mhm. All
I
the
like,
backgrounds are intensely detailed.
yeah,
I mean,
I like the
uh,
model work in it, but
highly
I
crafted.
I do think it suffers from, I've seen the extended versions. I own about 4 different versions of this film, and then if you go on my blog, there's a whole blog I've done about how when I went to see the movie, the cinema got delivered with the wrong print, and they were delivered a working print of the film. I saw it the same day as I saw Terminator. We went to see Terminator in the afternoon, and we went to see June in the evening, and we travelled to a different cinema from normal. So if we hadn't gone to that cinema, which had the biggest screen near me, we wouldn't have seen what was the standard release for June. I think was bang on 2 hours or thereabouts, and we saw a 155-minute version of the movie that was never intended for release. It was just an accident. So that was kind of nuts because I saw June again the following day at a different cinema, and I was like, "This is a different movie. What's happened to all those other scenes?"
Yeah.
So that's how I know. It's not just something I'm remembering incorrectly.
Mhm.
But yeah, great. I still like the film. It's got a lot of problems, but I think it's got a lot of merit as well. And I know a lot of people have sort of rediscovered it, and there's a lot of love out there for it.
I think so, and there was also something inherent about it that is 1984. Um, it
Yeah,
it it just reeks of it, and it's like y but also it is some of the most imaginative creative work that was done on a science fiction movie in that time. So I'm like, yeah, look, they didn't get everything right. It's hard to get exactly everything from the book into on screen as far as flow and story elements, but they did a one heck of a job with a lot of the creation, the creative design, the acting is just superb, all that stuff. It was one of my favorite things, and it got me interested in the book, and I read all the books, and they were
Oh,
all
really?
good. I mean, that I didn't. I would say they were good up until 5, and then after 5, I was like, "What's going
I have
on?"
the latest edition of the original book
All
here.
right, let me get a full.
What's really annoying about this cover, right, is that they went for the poster that was released in China, and this is the cover that cuts out the character of my friend Sharon Duncan Brewster, who played
Oh
oh
yes, yeah,
Doctor Cairns Kynes
yeah, Dr. Kynes,
in Doctor Kynes in the
Leah
movie.
Kynes,
And in China, they didn't want a black woman on the June poster.
yeah,
So, 'cause I mean, that's just so racist, man. How we allow that is,
yeah.
just because it's
Well,
China.
I mean, there is one on there, but I mean, I think it was which one is darker than
Yeah,
she's very dark.
Zendaya's on there, but Sharon, who played Dr. Kynes,
Yeah,
not on this
there.
poster and wasn't on any of the posters in China, sadly.
Yeah, its skin color is a big deal in China.
I was really annoyed about that. I remember sending her a picture, and I actually wanted to take the book back. But anyway,
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but
she was great in the role, though.
yeah, she was fantastic. She
Really,
was.
really
Um,
earned that role. Really owned it. She was.
yeah, I mean,
I was so proud of her.
she played it different than Max von
Yeah,
Sydow, but I thought
absolutely.
that she made uh you really believe her when she
Yeah,
says, she talks and she says her lines and things like that.
she was like Max von Sydow played it as like the wise old grandfather scientist, and that was his look. She played it as like your sort of Greenpeace warrior who'd gone there, become immersed in the Fremen
Yes.
life, and preferred that way of life to her own, and
Yeah.
that completely worked.
Yeah.
I liked it. Um,
Yeah. I,
you know,
I and yeah, I absolutely and I believed it. I believed that that
yeah.
was the part that was I was like, oh, this is going to be the moment that kicks me out of the film. And it didn't. And Steve 68, oh my God, Simply Steve, you are says thanks for the stream, RNG. Gotta get dinner. See you next time. Well, you have a great dinner. Enjoy. I can't wait to have something to eat too. I'm
Yeah,
starving.
I'm
And
gonna put the oven on as soon as I jump off the stream, but I'll have time to say hi for a bit. But yeah.
okay, so um yeah, so you have a great day, and I actually want to see if I can hold on to this uh, for the closing. Maybe if I can. Okay, so this is going to be it for us today.
Yeah.
Um, I'm
Can
really
I
sorry we couldn't have gone through the entire list, but there's at
There's
least
so many.
100 and a lot more, a
Well,
lot more.
we can do a part 2, right?
Yes, next week we'll do a part 2 on this, and just want to make sure that I have the right.
Can
Uh,
I
Give me 1 second. Okay.
uh, uh, can I plug what I'm got coming
Yes,
up?
we're about to get to that part. Just give me 1 second.
No
Um,
problem. I forgot Tawny Kitten was in Gwendolyn. That also came out in 1984.
I'm not sure if I have it. I may have it on the list. Okay,
I
so
think
just to prepare everyone. So next week's episode, we're going to go through the rest of the list. I'm not sure how much of the list we'll get to, but I have about 175 titles on there. As Lance said, there are a lot more, but these were the ones that registered the highest in the year. and I'll talk about those, as we get to them. And as we go further down, there will probably be a lot of films that we haven't seen yet, or that we've just missed somehow. Because as I was going down the list, I was like, "Wow, I haven't seen any of these," and and so it's really quite fascinating to see how many titles came out that year. And yeah, well, I'll when we get to it, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, Lance, please tell us anything that will be interesting for people to know about what's going on with you, your
So,
channel.
good news, I haven't got any stream tomorrow, so I won't be clashing with your watch party.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So because I'm having a dinner party, that's when people come around to your house and you meet people for real.
What?
Which I know it's a very strange concept. I haven't done one for quite a long time.
Aren't you
Uh,
afraid of the germs?
Well, I'm going to do my best. But
Just wear a mask, whatever you do, wear a mask.
indeed, indeed, it's quite hard to wear a mask when you're eating. However, but yeah. So on Sunday at 7 o'clock UK time, I'm doing a special episode, I guess, where we're doing a deep dive on episodes 1 and 2 of Masters of the Air, the new Band of
Okay.
Brothers show. I actually think, even though I would say if you were going to enjoy Band of Brothers Pacific or Masters of the Air, you would enjoy Masters of the Air, I think.
Me?
Yeah, I think maybe.
Okay.
Watch
Okay.
the first episode and see. Maybe.
Okay.
Because they're in the plains, the level of war, it always feels more detached. It's just a bit, and it's a different kind of visual aesthetic, and I think you'll like the visuals. Anyway, so we're doing that on Sunday. Tuesday's the regular Nielsen ratings
Okay.
night, which Stumpbrat's just mentioned in the chat. Every 10 o'clock, 5 p.m. East Coast.
Oh,
I
wow.
think 2 p.m. West Coast. So we're doing that, and then I've got an industry interview coming up in February. I think it's on the 13th, day before Valentine's Day. I'm interviewing Ron Underwood, the director of Tremors and City Slickers. And there's
Wonderful.
going to be some other special guests dropping into that stream. So you
Yeah, I
definitely want to
wonder.
watch that stream. You definitely want to watch that.
Yeah, I wonder who
Um,
that might be.
everybody I know wants to be on that. Everybody I know wants to be on that stream
Yeah.
as well. And it's
I,
but
I I won't be able to make it, but I will watch.
that's
I
all
will
right.
watch. Yes.
I've got Matthew Holmes co-hosting, and I think I might be bringing the critical drinker in towards the end to ask a couple of questions. But I've got to run a couple of things by Ron because I don't want him I don't want to overwhelm him with
Yes.
too many
Yes.
people and
Yeah.
things. So, and I really want it to go well because I don't think one interview with him will be enough time. I think I'm going to want him to come back.
Okay.
And I've got a few other people lined up of similar caliber. So watch this space,
Yes, you want to subscribe to Lance just to check in to see what's going on. Any given day, you can go to your subscription feed and find him streaming.
I actually haven't checked how my subs are doing, so I'm gonna see how we're.
So, guys, I just wanted to to let you guys know that I have some what's coming up next. So let's
I thought
see.
you were about to say I've got some really big news, and I was
Oh, no.
expecting this like big sledgehammer announcement.
No sledgehammer announcements. Pretty calm and collected over here. No big surprises. Except for the
Dating
fact.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, sorry.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Now I have to say this about the Wednesday mornings. I'm really excited about the way my last Wednesday morning went down. It was just the headlines, and I really liked it. It was very succinct, and I had so much fun just talking about the headlines. And we must have had like 10 to 15 different headlines to talk about. It was great. So I think I'm going to go forward with that, and then do modern reviews. Some other time. I'll figure out something, a way to include them on the schedule. But this was it was so much fun to do it the way we did on Wednesday, and I think I'm going to continue forward like that. And so tomorrow we have the big watch party, Groundhog Day, 1988, one of my favorite movies of all time, and it is really, you know, Groundhog Day is coming up really soon. So if you miss this one, you can still catch it before anytime before the actual Groundhog Day, and I'm sure it will be fun. Um, so that's happening tomorrow. Hope you can join me for that. Also, let's see, the next Friday, I'll be doing the part two of this, and then we will be watching Dragon Slayer next Saturday. So that's the 3rd of February. We'll be watching Dragon Slayer. Now, at the next one after that, drum roll, what's next? On the 10th of February,
Yep.
Superman 1978, guys. We're going to be
Great.
watching it right here. You get your copies ready. We're going to be watching that movie. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, I do love that movie. So I hope that you can join me for all of the watch parties and all of the things. And if you guys didn't catch it last night, I was able to do a wonderful chit chat over at the Table Talk channel. And we did one heck of a incredible like session talking about He-Man, the Masters of the Universe movie, and it was so good. It was so awesome. So I urge you to find that. If you can't find it, you can go to the community tab, and you will see where I left a link for that that video for you guys.
He-Man.
Oh yeah, so good. And let's see. Stump Rat says, let me see. And oh, my retro New Year's package on the way. Oh, don't be mad. Oh, well, of course not. And Stump Rat says, "Yay, Superman! Yes. Oh my goodness, Superman." And Moonbeam is excited for Superman as well. Sweet, you guys. I'm so glad that we're getting a movie that you guys want. And also, always, anytime you want to suggest the movies that you want me to review. I love that we're diving into the classics as well. So after Casablanca, man, I want to do more of that. So we're going to be looking at some of those old classics as well. So stay tuned, everybody. So let's go here. So without further ado, everyone, I bid you adieu. And I will see you in the next live stream or video that's coming up. Take care, guys. Have a great weekend.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.